time drops, chasing all my dreams now lately. No matter if I try too hard, nothing's ever enough, baby. No, I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side, I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different. Tell me everything's alright. Life is just a bunch
Okay. Wow, what a show. Hi, I'm Arne from Huawei, Arne Herkelmann from Huawei. I'm responsible for smartphones in Europe. And I would like to give you a few ideas on why the Mate 20X 5G today is powering this outstanding event. I hope you enjoyed the game so far. So, at Huawei, we have one mission. We'd like to bring digital to every person, every home, every organization for a fully connected, intelligent world. We believe that technology can make our lives better. Can be very simple things, can be pretty complex things. You can get more creative because you have better cameras in your smartphone. You can be more productive because your battery lasts longer than with others. Or, very simple, you can stay in touch with your friends, with your family, with your relatives, because you have better network signal. We want to make that possible, and we would like to power your ambition to achieve more. So, today, we're here playing with the Mate 20X. There is in China already 95% of all players that play on mobile. That's a massive number. These are 30.5% of all Chinese population. So mobile gaming is huge already. And if you think China is big, Europe is not too far away. In Europe, we've already at 18.3% of all Europeans playing mobile. So today, here, all of you, you're in a very, very good community with 138 million people in Europe playing on a smartphone every single day. What can we do to help you play better? What can we do to play stronger with the Huawei Mate 20X? What innovation is driving this smartphone? Let me give you a few examples. Number one, the Mate 20X is using a vapor chamber to stay cool even when you play the hardest. Vapor chamber has been the number one thing, the hot topic for professional gaming PCs like 2 or 3 years ago, and now we're using the exact same technology in a smartphone. And on top of that, to go even further, we're using graphene layers. Not sure whether you've built a smartphone or a spaceship before. If you've not built a spaceship, graphene is being used to cool down spaceships. We're using exact that technology to cool down the smartphone, to distribute the heat so the processor can work harder, the GPU can work harder, and your gaming experience will improve. The next thing is, of course, massive screen. If you see the Mate 20X 5G here, it's a 7.2-inch display. Huge display for better gaming, but below that, visuals is not everything. It's all about acoustics as well. So we have massive dual PAs, we have Dolby surround sound 7.1 if you're using a headset, and we're also supporting Dolby Atmos, so your gaming experience can get truly immersive. And battery, for us, is already natural. So if you check any battery benchmark, you'll always see Huawei Mate series leading at the very top. The 20X 5G comes with a 4,200 milliampere hour battery, so it's a huge battery. And at the same time, if you would ever run out of battery, There's a 40-watt Huawei Supercharge. Very, very fast charging. You can go from 0 to 70% in just 30 minutes. We've just announced the Mate 30 Pro last week in in Munich, and there we go even further. The Mate 30 Pro has a 27-watt wireless charging, so it's super convenient and at the same time very, very fast to recharge. You don't have to worry about forgetting to charge, and you can continue to play and play and play. Next topic in the innovation is also in the Mate 30 Pro. It's the Kirin 990. So all the experiences, everything you do with your smartphone today is coming down to the chipset that is powering it. The Kirin 990 is the world's first 5G SoC, and today, as you can see, everything here is also about 5G together with Vodafone. It's the world's first SoC with 5G. It's also the world's first SoC with NSA-SA. It has much stronger AI capabilities and a 16-core GPU. Now, what does that mean for you? What does that mean for people using smartphones every day? Number one, better 5G, lower power consumption. So you can consume more video, you can download more things much faster, and you need much less battery than with other smartphones. Number two, it's future-proof. We already support network technologies that will be live 2-3 years from now. So you don't have to worry about today, because your smartphone will operate on the networks in the next years without any problem. Last but not least, gaming GPU. You can see that behind me. If you use the Kirin 990 for gaming, 60 frames, full support, PUBG, it takes 19% less battery than a competitor device. 19% less battery means, basically, you can play 90% more with the Mate 30 Pro. There's one more thing I definitely have to talk about. Because we're here, because we're with Vodafone, 5G. 5G is the next step, is the catalyst to the next level experience. Today, we're packing all this innovation into a smartphone. Bigger screens, better batteries, faster charging, better chipsets, all of this is going in the smartphone. But if you go beyond that, if you bring 5G to the table, you can do much more than what your smartphone is actually capable to do so. So 5G allows you to go way beyond the technical limitations of the hardware, of the software on the device. With 5G, you have the power of the cloud always with you. Cloud computing, cloud storage, cloud GPU. So you get real-life VR, you get real-life AR, and of course you get cloud gaming, which you can see a first hint at the booth over there. So 5G is essential to boost your experiences forward, and we are a big part of that. Imagine you can play any game and you can move from a standard smartphone gaming experience with low-res graphics, rather slow, to a high-end premium graphic experience where you have full-blown PC graphics anywhere, every time, every game, and on any screen you want. That's the power of 5G. I do hope you enjoyed the matches. I do hope you enjoyed the show. And with that, I'll leave you back to the games. Thank you very much.
Dancing on my own when you spill that rum and coke on my t-shirt. Yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high-pitched feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on our baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Riverside. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby, you make me feel something.
Body to the sound of the tuba. Body to the sound of the tuba.
empire time drops. Chasing all my dreams out lately. No matter if I try too hard, nothing's ever enough, baby. No, I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side. I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different. Tell me everything's alright. Life is just a bunch of faces, and if it's not, we'll still be fine. I know we're going.
Buongiorno Milano, good afternoon and welcome back to the stage here at Milan Games Week. I'm John Sargent and my taller, super handsome, significantly more Italian counterpart, Simone La Rivera. We're looking forward to bringing you some excellent mobile gaming this afternoon.
Buongiorno Games Week, un po' di applausi! Io sono Simone La Rivera, noto in rete come Viking, ma vi presento John Sargent. Lui sarà il nostro host praticamente in lingua inglese perché la trasmissione sarà sia in italiano che in inglese, è il motivo per cui ci troviamo qua. Io sarò il ponte tra questa trasmissione internazionale e voi, e il palco, e il pubblico, e tutte le emozioni che ci regalerà il mobile gaming della ESL Open Cup. E ragazzi, adesso dovete capire una cosa. Qui ci sono dei ragazzi che hanno l'opportunità di vincere 45.000 euro in palio per il mobile gaming. È incredibile. John, back to you.
Exactly right. Over 40,000 euros is going to be on offer here for Asphalt this afternoon. It's going to be an incredible weekend for mobile gaming. It already has, and it's going to continue to be as well. We're looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to it as well, and we're going to be getting going very shortly to see which of our 16 players will walk home with the lion's share of the prize money.
Esattamente, vedremo quali dei 16 giocatori si riusciranno ad aggiudicare almeno una fetta, se non tutta la fetta di questo montepremi incredibile. Ragazzi, è tutto pronto, vediamo cosa ha da dirci John come ultima cosa prima di lanciare la linea al desk.
Well, that's it from us for now. We hope you guys are going to enjoy the show. It is our pleasure to introduce the fantastic caster desk for the Asphalt event. Gentlemen, take it away.
Abbiamo un cast d'eccezione, signori, per raccontarci tutte le emozioni di Asphalt. Lasciamo a loro la linea. I ragazzi al desk, a voi!
Thank you very much, guys. Welcome to the Asphalt 9 here today. This is the Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open. I'm your host, Tetra, but I will not be doing it alone as we bring you the high-octane games. I am joined by the wonderful Trid and the magnificent Lethal. How are you guys doing today?
Let you go first, or no? I'm going to go first.
I'll let you go.
I'll let you go, mate. No, I've had a fantastic time. Obviously, we had to get to explore the show floor yesterday at Milan's Games Week. That's where we are right now. A lot of players around here looking to compete and get some prize pool, but a lot of attendees enjoying some fantastic gaming and esports action.
That's right, we've got some new players, some experienced players, even a couple of veterans coming into the scene now. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things pan out throughout the course of the day.
We're all incredibly excited to see how this will go. All these players will be playing on the Huawei Mate 20X 5G. Very powerful phone, which is going to allow them to get all that high-speed action to the best possible ability. But let's talk players, guys. Who is there to look out for in this tournament? You say we've got quite a few veterans. As we can see on the bracket, which names stand out to you?
I'm going to take the easy one right now. All the players are talking about him. He's got a lot of history, most recently performing extremely well at the Asphalt Series finals. It's got to be RPM Alex. He's one of the favourites at this tournament. I'm expecting him to go far in this bracket run.
Yeah, he's such a consistent player. Very well thought out as well. But you've got to look at the other ones as well. His teammate Nick is there, right next to him in the bracket. So we could be seeing a team kill eventually. But you've got to have a look at Balak as well. You've got Tempest, got Typhoon. There are so many good players here at this event. It's very hard to call who's a favourite.
But we do have an incredibly lucky person at the top, a well-known name. Elite Fra has made it through with a bye, getting that big boost. And this is a well-known player, very experienced.
I think that's one thing to take into account as well, because you get a buy into the next match. That's one of the things you've got to take forward, just due to the fact that he won't be playing straight away, but he'll be playing someone else who's already had a match, kind of calm their nerves and all that bits and pieces. So interested to see how he does in the next round.
Yeah, he's going to be progressing through the bracket. I mean, one of the players I want to look out for is Onio. This guy is a veteran in, well, not necessarily to Asphalt, but he has a pedigree in racing games. And I think his experience going all the way back to 2011, 2012, this guy's a world champion at ESWC. So he's going to have a much-needed veterancy on the stage that I think a lot of these players aren't actually going to be able to match.
Absolutely, it's a well-known fact of land nerve, something that these players may be experiencing here. When you have all that experience, it can really make the break and the make or break difference in those games. But let's talk about RPM Alex. As you said before, very experienced players, came second at Gamescom recently. And the person he lost against isn't here this week.
Yeah, the classically named Driver 8714 won't be making an attendance. He wasn't in one of the eligible countries in the tournament. He's obviously coming from South Korea, made that miraculous run from 12th seed. I mean, you were there, Harry. You could tell us all about that one.
Well, this is it. He was the bottom seed at last month's tournament, and he took the whole thing. So seeding doesn't really matter too much. That's time trials. That's a completely different pedigree, like you mentioned before. But now you've got to see how Alex will do now against other competitors. There is some very strong lineups here, and like I said before, he's very consistent. His lines are very good. Doesn't really have a bad matchup, but if he plays against Nick later on, that's going to be a slobber knocker.
That's a bit of a team kill potential coming in, because they are going to face each other in the next round, provided they win that first match in the bracket. We're starting for a round of 16, aren't we, Chris?
We are starting with round of 16, single elimination, best of 5. So there's lots more opportunities. And the first match we are starting off with is 404 Tempest versus Elite Frank. A very intense matchup, guys. Who immediately stands out as the favourite here?
Oh, this is a tough one to call, because both these players are so good. Tempest last month was actually the #1 seed coming into it. Still did pretty well anyway, around the top 8, top 4 mark. But Elite Frank, he has his inconsistencies. Sometimes he plays really well, to start with, but as the pressure hits him more for the progress of the tournament, that's where we're going to see if he keeps that consistency there, or if he drops just that little bit.
I mean, Tempest, you can call it bracket run, or you can call it the way the bracket worked out, but at the beginning of the Gamescom finals, he had a blistering first round, and he just seemed to have lost momentum as the bracket went on. Hopefully, having that LAN experience now will help him overcome that, and we can see him have the endurance to go the distance.
That's the other thing as well, is the fact that, is there any new players which could make that Cinderella story? I'd be very curious about that, because don't get me wrong, there's about 8 known players here, but the other 8, we don't know too much about due to the fact that they're inexperienced in the LAN environment, but this is what I'm looking forward to. It's very hard to call here.
Excellent point. We had quite a few players who did qualify. We had players qualify online. We had events all across the world. And we also had our last chance qualifiers here yesterday, where we got a couple familiar names. We already mentioned Elite Fra, who we have seen before, who is coming back in as well for another run. That's going to be very exciting, but we have quite a few players that we might not recognize the names that could really cause upsets here.
I mean, that's one of the beauties of this tournament. I'm a massive advocate for open tournaments like this, because it allows the little guy to kind of step up and be able to have a chance with the big shots who are running the circuit right now when it comes to Asphalt. So we're going to have some unknown names coming over, and like you said, Chris, there could be some surprises.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are prepared for game number 1. We're going to be heading right into it to bring you all the action. It is going to be our wonderful casters. I've already introduced them, but you're going to get used to them. It's Trid and Lethal.
Yeah, we got Elite Frank going up against Tempest, and we haven't got far to throw. I could literally touch it right now, Chris. It's fantastic. Love setups like these. We're already into the first race, and we're going to kick things off. And it already looks nice and early that Elite Frank's taking that lead.
Yeah, he's going to do everything he can. Position advantage is so important here, but Tempest with a shortwave is trying to do everything he can to catch up. But Elite Frank is firing away here.
Yeah, going to take that turn, keeps drifting, wants to build up the nitrous, needs to be very conscious of what he does here. He's in the lead, but he's got no way out of the woods yet because a well-timed nitro behind him could cause a knockdown, and that's lethal in these matchups.
I like the pun there, mate, but Elite Frank there, as you saw, missed one of the jumps, but missed a little bit there, as you can see, giving him the opportunity to maybe get Tempest a time to catch up. He has done. They're both right next to each other now. And one of them got called back straight away. This is Elite Frank's chance to play it safe and take the early win.
That's it, it came down to that one ramp collision, that knockdown in the air. We already talked about it. If you get knocked down in this matchup, it is then the leading car's race to lose. And we're just watching Elite Frank play it safe. He knows he's got the advantage, doesn't need to take risks here, and he'll be walking away with the first map win.
Yeah, Tempest was trying to do everything he can to try and nudge him a little bit out of the way. Normally, when you're the person from behind, that's your advantage, but Frank knew he nitroed around the same time to make sure that didn't happen. And even though he made a couple of slip-ups at the start, he made up for it with about one vital boost now, and we can see Frank finish things up with that first race.
Yeah, Tempest not that far behind him, all things considered. Usually we see a significantly larger gap. 4 seconds in it, really. So that's still an impressive time. So he was chasing up. Really shows a testament to this player to actually be able to make these gains when he's down in the seconds.
That's right. Normally you get knocked down like that. Normally you have about 5 or 6 second gap. But like you mentioned before, 4.5, 5 seconds. It shows that, you know, maybe Elite Frank was just playing it a little bit too safe, but he's got all the time in the world. The only way he's going to get caught up in that scenario is this if he actually crashes or get knocked down in some way, shape or form. Wasn't the case. Elite Frank, he knows what to do, play it safe, and that's what he should do in any kind of situation.
Yeah, fantastic start by him as well. What I really liked about that, before we actually saw that engagement, that kind of head-to-head on the ramp, you were watching the perspective of the leading car, Elite Frank in the lead. You saw the collision behind. He already tried to rear-end him, but he didn't have the nitro go in to create a knockdown. He didn't have enough momentum behind him to knock him off the road. And ultimately, when it came down to the showdown on that ramp, Elite Frank, he was just able to demolish him.
Do you know what? I was actually really surprised, close to gobsmacked, because when I saw that collision happen, I thought, okay, Elite Frank's going to be in trouble here, but it just wasn't the case.
Here we go, we're looking at a replay of that right now. Just the roll over the top. A little bit earlier before, like we said, you could just see him nudging into the bumper. And it's all by the numbers after that moment. It's so difficult to throw that lead away.
And this is the thing, this is only the first match of the day, and we've got 2 Titans here just to make it to the quarterfinals. That's staggering compared to the other matchups we're going to see, but we couldn't ask for a better first match here.
And just to make you all aware at home as well, this is not the only match going on right now. We're only able to jump into one match at this stage, but there are loads of other matches happening simultaneously, and we'll be updating you with those scores as and when we get them, so know that the action is continuing. You might not see all the action, but we'll definitely keep you up to date.
In this matchup between Frank and Tempest, this is a kind of match you'd see in a semi-final or a quarter-final, maybe even a grand final. And to see these two go up against each other straight away, the pressure is really on. You know, me personally, the last thing I'd want to do, the first match of the day, is play against one of the hardest opponents you can find. And I think Frank knows that in terms of time trials, Tempest is one of the best at that, which means he has one of the best consistencies across the board.
Yeah, and we're looking also at this tournament being single elimination, so we're not having any mercy here. This is cutthroat. You don't get that second life. You don't get a chance at a rematch down the lower bracket run. If you get knocked out now, that's it. Your run's over. You'll be walking away with €1,000 for the 9th to 16th bracket worth of prize pool. And we said 40K's on the line. Really, you want to get that first place, get that 14K. That's what you're really looking for when you come out here to the Mobile Open Finals.
It's a nice chunk of change to start with, but if I chose between 14K and 1, I think we all know we want to go for here in that shape or form.
Simple maths dictates that one, Harry.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. You know, my maths ain't too bad, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not going to talk about my maths on broadcast, but off broadcast, it's very good. It's not actually too bad. But we'll talk about it another time when we talk about the timings of the future races. But so far, Frank, the pressure's off him so far. Tempest is going to be one, is a little bit in trouble, but I've seen him before, we'll see him again. He has reacted to resize mentality, but this first bend is going to be a close one. But as you see now, Tempest gets that early lead to make sure he avoids the collision on this first jump.
Goes in for the obstacles as well, wants to get a couple of errors out of the way. Help, just tear out along the nitro, same with the drifting behind. We're on board with Elite Frank, who is starting from the chasing position this time around, and will have to start getting on Elite Frank.
Oh, Frank was trying to go for a cheeky one there on that jump, because some people normally go through the bridge, but normally people make that jump, but it's a very difficult one to make, but risk it anyway. Doesn't make the jump too far, but Tempest has got a nice early lead here. Perfect nitro control, good tricks just to keep the nitro going, just managed to stay behind there, and now Frank needs to figure out a way to how to catch up.
He's just unafraid of taking these 360s, just perpetually doing them when he knows he has the advantage. And Elite Frank, He's not had any knockdowns, he's not had any collisions. We've seen Tempest just using drift liberally. And look at the distance between them. Tempest is just pulling away.
This is what I mean by positional advantage. This is how much time you can even increase. And Tempest, one of the best time trialists on the circuit, is proving why he's going to head that now. About to cross the finish line nice and easy by at least 2 or 3 seconds there. And Frank, very questionable. Maybe it wasn't one of his better tracks. But look at that though, a 6-second margin.
If you leave Tempest to his own devices, he's just going to run away with this one, taking Scotland so easily.
A 6-second gap. No collisions, no knockdowns, very straightforward race. But it just shows how strong Tempest is. Maybe it was one of his better maps, but we'll find out now. Goes to the next race. It's a bad feeling for Frank because he's going to think to himself now, what am I going to have to do in these next potentially 3 races? He's going to have to play a little bit more dirty now. He's got to be a bit more careful what he want to do. He has to play very unsafe as much as he can here.
It's such a clean line take from him. Here's that ridiculous 360 after 360, just rolling with it, giving himself all that nitrous to kick things off, keep himself in the lead. Now, Elite Frank, obviously, he did win out that first map, so they are tied 1 apiece in the series in best of 5. 2 more maps will separate and dictate who is actually progressing further down the bracket.
I've mentioned it before as well, nitro control is a very important thing there, and especially the positional advantage, but you saw Tempest at the start. It wasn't a positional advantage he wanted, but that first bend is always a bit of a nemesis, I'd say, a very crucial one, because that is the one jump which can literally cost you that race entirely. And you saw there, Tempest was like, I'm not even going to deal with any of that. I'm just going to push straight away at the start and then just try and hopefully keep the lead, which he did. He'd more than kept the lead. He increased it thoroughly.
He gained it. He didn't stop accelerating on that one. You saw him on screen a second ago. He's calm. He's collected. He's giving us the cheeky double eyebrow raise on this one. He's having a good time. And that mentality is really going to aid him in this. It doesn't look like he's feeling the stress, feeling the pressure. You take a look at Elite Frank here, concentrating on his game. Now, that could go either way. He could be beating himself up, or he could just be focusing on what comes next. That's this map coming on. Elite Frank already falling into second place. He wants to boost to contend him, actually knocking Tempest away from the nitrous. He's going to compensate for a 360 instead.
You can see the strategies there. Frank wanted position advantage, but Tempest wanted the nitro just to make sure, but he is catching up very slightly. Still behind him, but Frank does get a shockwave. Tempest does as well. And it's so tit for tat now as we're trying to go through every single jump to try and overtake in shape or form, but Frank knows not to let him take any way, but he could have tried to overtake him here, which he doesn't, but he is right on his tail.
Yeah, he's not letting up on this one. Shockwave's being used almost after the fact, reacting to each other's movements. Still trying to cage up. This is so neck and neck behind him. He wants to pull away, keeping the momentum with the 360s to keep building the nitro so he can maintain the chase on the Tempest. Takes it a little bit later with the barrel roll over the top, and he's going to go up the next round to keep that pursuit.
And Frank's doing such a good job so far, but Tempest is very slowly gaining on him. Literally a couple of microseconds between the two now so far. As Frank's taken every jump, every trick in the book to try and do anything. Just missed that bus just slightly. But Frank's only got a few more seconds to go to get around this bend, and then he's pretty much safe.
Pretty much going to be on the home stretch, sure. There you go, finish line coming in. So Elite Frank showing that when it comes down to just time trialing it out, he can still contend with Tempest. And I'm looking at your face right now. You saw the time difference between the two of them. This is far from over.
Tritch, you read me like a book then. Straight away, 0.12 seconds from each other. And this is the problem. When you play against Tempest, you're not allowed to play safe entirely, because you know he's going to be on your tail the entire way. But you saw there the nitro control from Tempest. He started off a little bit behind in that initial start, but it managed to creep up. But sadly for him, it wasn't enough. But it wouldn't surprise me if this goes to race number 5.
I think there's no way that this series can conclude without it going to 5 maps. If it doesn't go to 5 maps, I feel like there'll be a little bit of injustice here. We're going to have a replay of that early engagement. You saw there the trade-off. The nitrous went for the 360 instead to try and keep up, but already Elite Frank's pulling out of the lead. They're relying on micro mistakes here for Tempest, the micro advantages to start eating away at that lead. And you see how close it is, and the time tells it all, Harry. When it came down to the end, that proximity remained throughout.
Yeah, that's what we've got to see now. And the problem is, Tempest, he did have the nitro advantage at the start, but that slight knock may have cost him slightly, but also Frank had a lot more air time to keep that control and make sure to keep that lead. But that lead wasn't on for long as we go into race number 4 to see if Tempest can come back.
Rome neck and neck on this first straight, pushing him into the wall, but they're still not maintaining it, and Tempest just going to go ahead and be edged out here. He's going to keep himself in the lead. Elite Frank in second place. He's got the nitro, he's got the acceleration, and a knockdown nice and early. That's going to seal the deal. We're now going to be keeping an eye on Tempest to see if he throws away this lead, but that could be tying out the series again, forcing out that map 5.
That's the last thing Frank wanted now, and Tempest, we know how good he is, how consistent he is. He's got some great lines going through in each and every race here. So Tempest needs to play it safe. He can play it safe as he likes now. We've seen what he did in that second race with a 6-second lead without any knockdowns, but he just got to be a tad too careful. This is one of these tracks where you can have a little bit inconsistent and actually crash. But look at this now, Frank is already behind him now.
Usually a knockdown just spells doom, but he's closed this gap already. He doesn't want to be out of the race, he's going to pop the shockwave, takes the jump on a better line. Elite Frank might actually take over Tempest here and force out and take this series nice and early.
This is definitely a first here. Elite Frank doing everything he can, managed to take over. Going over one of the final jumps here to take the lead and managed to win it in the end. What a surprise.
That rarely ever happens, Lethal. Somehow, Elite Frank came back from a knockdown that we don't expect players to do, overtakes Tempest, and will take the series 3 maps to 1.
I'm speechless. I've never seen that happen, but Frank, he did such a great job. He's so consistent. I like the cheeky smile there. He knows he's done a good job. Tempest, commiserations to him. Very good player, but all said and done now for him.
That was supposed to be one of our players to watch, one of the favourites, and he's been knocked out in the first round.
Definitely
unfortunate for him, but you can see here on the screen, giving him a round of applause. You can't help but admire that comeback. Like I said, I cannot stress enough how little that actually happens. A comeback from a knockdown is so unusual.
Yeah, it's just absolutely bizarre. It's extremely rare. And maybe something we didn't see from Tempest's side, maybe a couple of crashes on the side. No knockdowns, of course, but there must be something he did throughout that entire track, especially in that second half.
We were following Tempest, and we didn't see him viscerally make any knocks into the wall, any loss of momentum unnecessarily, and we had Elite Frank close that gap indefinitely. Yes, we might have missed him off camera when he obviously had the actual overtake in position because they took separate lines. But when it came to closing the gap, that wasn't mistakes by Tempest, that was gains by Elite Frank.
It's unbelievable. There's only one slight bash I saw, but surely it's not that cost effective in terms of your time. But Frank, what a great job. There must be one of his best tracks, surely.
It has to be. We'll surely have to ask him at some point. So already we have the information that Elite Frank will be progressing through to the quarterfinals. Try and give you more information as and when we get updates on the scores, but I think that may have been one of the fastest series, so we may be waiting to get that information coming in.
Yeah, I expect it to be a race number 5, especially what we saw at the start. I was like, okay, this is going to be a race 5. Won't be too much of a surprise. What a great first match to have, but what a comeback we saw from him. Very tight-knit.
Okay, well, that's all for me and Harry for now. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you more Asphalt Legends.
It's grand final time.
Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine, i pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse. Magic, magic, magic.
perfect girl to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on our baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Riverside. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on our baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Riverside. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something.
Move your body to the sound of the jukebox. body to the sound of the jukebox.
It's grand final time.
Welcome back to the Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open, powered by the Huawei Mate 20X 5G. And you know who else was powered by something else? Elite Frank, powered by sheer adrenaline, pulling off the very rare takedown comeback. Guys, that was amazing.
Yeah, he must have Lady Luck's on his side, fortune shining down upon him, or it could be destiny. We don't know. We're going to find out as the bracket progresses, but he's going to be joining us in our quarterfinals, and we're going to be hopefully checking in on those later.
I just can't get over the last race. I still can't. I'm still flabbergasted by what actually happened, but Frank. He's shown a lot of improvement compared to when I last saw him. Hopefully that level of consistency can stay in much as possible.
But that was just 1 month. That, we're talking about the Asphalt Series finals that happened at Gamescom. That was, what, end of August? 29th, 4th of August, something like that?
About that, yeah.
It's nearly only about 30 days ago, and he's made a stark improvement coming into the Mobile Open finals.
He really has, and as such, he will make it into the quarterfinals where he will be facing off against the player with the fastest qualifying time, Future Flash, who has been scrimming a little bit with RPM Alex. We've been hearing some good stuff there, so that's still going to be a tough matchup. His hardest matches are yet to come.
Well, the thing to notice about Eternal Franco, I think it is that when we asked a bunch of players who were they most afraid of, right? And typically, the answer they got back was that it was RPM Alex. He was the guy. He is the person that they are most concerned about. Who does RPM Alex say? He can't say himself. He turns around and says Eternal Frank. Yeah. We've just seen why.
Well, I don't know. He could say himself if he wants to, but
I'm the most dangerous player to myself.
Yeah. Does he mess with me? Like,
no. I thought you were going down the line of he's self-sabotaging. He's his own worst enemy, right? Like, he's the worst player to go against.
But no, it's completely understandable. This guy with RPM Alex, it should be illegal for him to play this game. He's that damn good. His lines are very, how to say, I don't want to say consistency. It's more just like amazing, just incredible of a player. But the thing is though, with Flash, he may have actually learned a lot from him because not many players actually scrim in a 1v1 environment and they more focus on the time trials to try and qualify. But this time round, we expect these two to get hopefully quite far into a very hefty bracket.
That's going to be a very tough matchup. We also have at the very top of the table, Leapfrog, who did get a bye. He will be playing off against Lion, which is going to be another very tough matchup, who took out the player we were talking about earlier, AC Onio.
Oh, so that's actually quite surprising that a player like Onio would actually get knocked out in the first stages of this tournament. I was expecting him not necessarily to be one of the guys who comes out with a final win, but certainly to start going the distance, maybe to the semi-finals.
And we do now have our next matchup. It's another round 1 game. We are getting ready for Pro Typhon versus Supersonic SG. Another incredible matchup from some well-known players. Guys, break it down for me.
Where should we begin? I think Typhon's the first one we should begin with, just due to the fact that he was here last month as well at Gamescom winning the Asphalt tournament. He did manage to place 3rd in the end, but he's one of those confident risk takers. You've got to be very careful with him. He'll either play very well or, if you've got a slight edge on him, he will pull out the tricks out of the bag. He is just one of those players. Only slightly behind Alex here, but we'll have to see if that practice pays off for him.
Going to be a tough matchup for him. I believe you have the first map.
Yeah, I think the first shot will be Tropic Island, and then we've got Midwest straight afterwards. Midwest, I think I've noticed some players aren't very comfortable with that.
Well, it turns out if it's following the same rotation as what we had in the first series, when it comes around to Midwest, well, that was the map that we just saw Tempest just absolutely blaze and time trial it with that, with that 6-second difference, kind of, with no collision whatsoever with his opponent. So players might be struggling with Midwest. I don't think Tempest was, but now he's out of the tournament, so I think the rest of the players are really going to struggle with this map.
Let's see, and I believe I heard that we have a game ready. Let's see if we have a similar story as we're going to be heading into game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, with our wonderful casters.
Thank you very much, Techa. Pro Typhon going up against Supersonic to kick things off in our second set of our round of 16. This is the last chance to get into the quarterfinals and start making some money. We're on the tropical island, and already Typhon, Supersonic going head-to-head to try and get the lead, and Supersonic SG going to pull out ahead until he's pulled off to the side, going for a 360 that was a little bit punished by Typhon.
Yeah, you saw Supersonic there, was trying to, take off a little bit, but he didn't have enough speed there. As Typhoon now is trying to do everything he can to extend his lead, doing it very nicely, and we know how good of a player he is, but Supersonic now still quite far behind, roughly about 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lead to catch up on. I'll be surprised if Port manages to get away with this one. Hoping to ride those perfect lines, get a perfectly timed nitro, and really attack the complacency of Typhon, because like we said, when these players have a lead like this, they want to play it safe. They won't take the risks. If you're willing to take those risks yourself, you might just be able to close that gap.
Yeah, I think the risk you saw Supersonic take really earlier on, it's more to the fact that is he going to win you the race or not, and sadly for him, it won't, but he just did not have enough leverage, not enough speed. He didn't really nitro quick enough because he used it at the start to try and get position advantage here. But Typhoon, we know how good he is, especially on one of these kind of tracks, and so far so good. He's not making any mistakes left, right and centre, and even if Supersonic wants to try and make anything happen, it'll be a little bit too late.
Yeah, I want to check on him eventually when we get to the end of this race. I think that's all she wrote for this particular map. And if you're a player like Supersonic SG and you recognise that you're probably not going to catch up to Typhon, there's 2 ways you can go about it. You can start wallowing in self-defeat, or you can start going, okay, map's over, let's go next. What's the next map? What can we do differently? To be fair, knocked it down to a 4-second difference, so not the worst thing in the world, but obviously it's not the W he was looking for to kick off the series.
No, don't get me wrong, I'd rather have the W, not going to lie. Yeah. But, it's like I said before right at the start, it was a risk he wanted to take, he blew it sadly. It's just one of those things. He should have a little bit more leverage, a little bit more speed. As you see the replay now, he did try and go for that, but Typhoon was like, okay mate, you do a little trick and try and throw me off, and I'm just going to go in a straight line and win the rest of the race. But to be fair, 4 seconds, is it, a small margin? It's not really, because he didn't even get knocked down, he just had a bit of a slow start. But Supersonic, I would have thought that should have been at least a 2 or 3 second gap, but he must have just been falling behind more and more as the track progressed.
So there we are. You can actually see a couple of the matchups that are happening while this is going on. RPM Nick going up against Obscure Paradox. You've got Base 320 versus Balak. It's good combinations going in there. Balak's one of our players to watch, so hopefully we will see him into the quarterfinals along with the winner of this series.
Yeah, we'll have to find out later on. We've still got some great matches coming up. This one especially because we haven't seen much of Supersonic before, and we'll have to see what he can do here, because we know he's a very good player in terms of time trials, but how good is his 1v1 experience? We know how good Typhoon is. Yeah. He's got a lot of aces in the hole, we could say.
Yeah, hopefully he can pull some of those out on Midwest, which we're probably going to be heading off to next. And we already identified, when we asked the players by their own admission, a lot of them struggling with Midwest. A few of them actually said Tropical Island as well. Gonna jump into map number 2. Typhoon's already got that lead over Supersonic SG, and they're already going up the ramp trying to build Nitrous. Slight pivot on the path there, so they're gonna take a split path, and that's not good for Supersonic SG. Taking a lot of collision and losing a lot of speed.
Yeah, you saw that there as well. He tried to take a slightly different route, but Typhoon now over behind just a little bit, and Supersonic is trying to do everything he can. Doesn't get much airtime with Typhoon, but will get on the ground slightly earlier, so at least that way he will catch up just that little bit more.
Usually when something like that happens, you have to question, what did Supersonic expend to get that position? And it doesn't seem like a lot, because he's matching shockwaves right now with Supersonic SG. I don't think he lost anything for that, and he's pulled this one back, and he's got himself in a slight lead that can be lost at a moment's notice.
This is where Nitro control is so important. If they close that shockwave, they will drift, even in the straight roads here. But look at this, Typhoon is already trying to overtake him, and he does now. We'll have to see what Supersonic can do here, but it's not really too much of the race left. It's Typhoon storming ahead now, and Supersonic has got to try and do something here.
They both went for the Supersonic, but Typhoon rammed him off the optimal path. He's taking the perfect line. Gonna have a nice little collision there to build up some more Nitrous. He can take that luxury because he has the lead. We're gonna be closing up on the finish line relatively shortly. And Typhoon just taking back the lead from Supersonic SG when it felt like he could hold it for the entire race.
As you can see, Typhoon managed to take that quite surprisingly considering the circumstances, but a 0.6 difference. And Supersonic, he had a good lead and a good route as well. The Nitro control wasn't too bad, but one of the specific points I want to make is the airtime. Surely sometimes some larger airtime is not too bad to get more Nitro, but Typhoon thought, you know what, I'm going to go for less and get on the ground earlier, so at least that way he's got so much Nitro already, he doesn't need to be in the air as often, because he knows on the ground he'll just get that little bit more, take the lead. But Supersonic must be thinking, what on earth happens?
Yeah, well, there's like think of it like the trajectory of an arrow, right? If you spend too long in the air, you're going to start to lose speed, you're going to start to lose momentum, and when you hit the ground, you're not going to hit it with the same speed that you would do. You would have just cut it down a little bit. So these players, it's all about judging that airtime, like you've already pointed out. If you spend too long, it's going to be costly. And what a performance there by Mr. Typhoon, to not be rattled by just losing that edge for seemingly what could appear at sometimes for no reason. We couldn't work it out what caused him to take that edge. Couldn't find anything that was costed to make that happen. Didn't look like Typhoon made any mistakes, but he had the composure, he kept it, and then he found his way back in.
Yeah, it's definitely lack of airtime on this bit, but going to the next race now, we'll have to see. The first jump is always a doozy, because there's always one where it could get cornered off, but Typhoon is just risking it anyway. He's going to go to the far right side to try and get much Nitro as possible, and he has, and a nice early lead for him as we go into this third race.
Takes the optimal line, but look at this, they're so close. Collision in midair could be disastrous, but he actually taking the lower line here. Supersonic SG taking the lower path, nearly getting a collision there with Typhoon as he goes back for the landing, but they're keeping it nice and close for now. Typhoon actually extending his lead a little bit further for the time being.
As you saw there, Supersonic only had that 2 times Nitro, but you saw there Typhoon had that shockwave already, but it's so close behind him. He could actually cause a collision here if he really tries, but look at this, their routes are almost perfect. It's pretty much symmetrical here, but Typhoon increasing his lead nicely.
Supersonic SG actually had an entry back into that map there, because he was taking the 360s where Typhoon wouldn't risk it, and he's building himself more Nitrous, and he came so close. That's how he closed the gap, but he wasn't able to keep it going. Now Typhoon is still keeping him at arm's length, and they're about to cross the finish line. The collision at the end! Supersonic SG edges him out by 0.1 of a second at the end to keep this series going.
Well. We made that assumption that it could be a 3-0 in the last close call towards the finish, but Supersonic, by the skin of his teeth, managed to take it back. But it looks like that reverse sweep, it's a potential.
There's a potential, but I'm going to have to slow you down a bit, Harry. Reverse sweep, it's too early to start throwing around terms like that. You know, mate, it was one map. We have a look at some of the replays from this. They were so close to being a collision. They actually went bumper to bumper before they went off in the air, but none of them had the speed to create a knockdown. And then again on the landing for Typhoon, another opportunity to be knocked out. But that final moment here, look at that, edges him out of the way in the 360 spin to go over the finish line victorious. We're a millisecond difference.
Yeah, that knock on Typhoon wouldn't have affected him too much. It's just he had so much speed to begin with anyway. And you saw as well with Supersonic during the first half of that track, he had lower airtime, but he did get the larger nitro canister anyway. So there was a way to catch up him. But Typhoon must be thinking, like, what on earth happened? Maybe he just took it a little bit too safe leading to that finish line.
Maybe, but now that's lesson learned, hopefully. We're going to be moving into our next map shortly. We're going to have Rome on the cards, obviously. We saw what happened last map. We actually had the Rome, I believe that was the map in our first series where we actually had the Miraculous comeback from a knockdown. Was it Rome we had the Miraculous comeback?
I think it was, yeah. I'm trying to think from the top of my head, but even then, no.
That's bad of us. Our memory's already going. There's only had one series, haven't we? Moving on to Rome, map number 4 coming on here. 3-1 score, 2-1 scoreline. Typhon leading it at the moment, and he's leading the position in this race.
Yeah, did miss one canister, but he didn't want to get knocked down just in case. So, risk granted, made sure he didn't anyway manage to keep that lead, but Supersonic is right behind him here. It's been quite clean so far, but slowly but surely, Typhoon is slightly edging his lead, but as I'm saying that, Supersonic is right behind him here, managed to overtake him, not trying for the Typhoon there, even though Supersonic had a little bit of a bash, but so far so good.
Shockwave in the Shockwave, they did have a little bit of a collision on the side, so it will lose him a little bit of speed, but he's got the lead for now, so Supersonic SG going to be pulling away with this one, riding the corner there, also will cost him a bit of speed. Typhoon, that's a sizable gap between them right now, but it is surmountable.
Yeah, even though he's grinding the wall a little bit, he will gain some nitro from it anyway. It's just a matter of how well he's going to control it, but so far Typhoon is trying to figure out a way of what he can do here, shape or form, but so far Supersonic is really doing a great job, but you know, Supersonic there, he was trying to decide which way he wanted to go, but Typhoon's just going straight forward. He's overtaking now, ready as we head to the finish line.
He saw it out of the corner right there. It looked like there was a wreck mid-air for Supersonic SG. His car got totaled, and even Typhoon's going to do it as he crosses the line. But Supersonic, unfortunately, losing that lead, losing that second map. And so it means that we're going to be having Typhoon progressing to our quarterfinals.
0.66 difference between both of those players in that last race. Crazy stuff. We thought Supersonic was going to take it. We saw there Typhoon. Great job from him. But even knowing straight after the race, a little bit of relief from him. He's like, oh, you know, like that was a close one, because the last thing you want to do is one of the prime favourites get knocked out first round.
Yeah, that's a bit of a disastrous. You can go ahead and ask Tempest about that, unfortunately. But that's you know, he had a quality opponent to go up against. One of the other players we'd expect him to go to distance as well. Only one of them can obviously pull ahead in that one. But Supersonic SG gave us a fight. We thought we might be looking at a 3-0 here, but he was able to pull away with that neck-and-neck victory. But his only victory was so close, Harry. When it came to Typhoon taking the lead, consistently increasing that gap, it wasn't by millimeters.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one, because even on Wildland Scotland, when Supersonic took that race, I think it gave him a bit of comfort, I would say, a bit of momentum going into it, but sadly it wasn't the case. He had such a great lead in that last track, but Typhoon, he's proved why he's so good and one of the best drivers here.
Right, well, we've whittled down 8 of our players so far. We're going to be going to the quarterfinals, but before we do that, we're going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
It's grand final time.
Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine, i pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse. Magic, magic, magic.
difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something.
Move your body to the sound of the tuba.
Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine, i pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse.
Magic, magic, magic.
It's grand final time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open, powered by the Huawei Mate 20X 5G. But I am powered by the power of friendship with my lovely casters here, Fred and Lethal. We just saw Supersonic go out, one of our players from our Indian qualifiers. He mentioned in his interview wasn't that much of a fan of Midwest, and he did seem to struggle, and it looked like he might make the comeback, but it wasn't to be, guys.
Yeah, kind of just overtaken by the raw power of Typhon. Unfortunately, the only map he was able to win out there, I believe, was Scotland. Just edged it out in the final moments for a millimeter victory, and that's what it was. Whenever we saw any chance of Supersonic taking the lead, it was just millimeters. But when it came to Typhon's lead, we're talking, I don't know, you can work it out. It's a bit bigger gap.
Yeah, it was a lot smaller compared to the rest of the others, but when you've got a consistency of the times there, that's when you know who's going to be the better player, depending on which track. But, you know, normally the harder the tracks, the better the player normally one stands out on top. So when you get Midwest, for example, we saw Tempest, he did it right in the first series. Didn't really help him out of the rest of the series anyway. But normally the better player comes out on top on the harder tracks. It should be like with any game, any way, shape or form. But sadly for Tempest, wasn't the case. But you saw earlier, Supersonic had such a close one in that last race anyway, but I think Typhon, you saw there in the earlier race, it was like 0.12 seconds between the two players, but I think he was playing it just a little bit too safe. He wasn't playing it safe in the others, I can tell you that.
Yeah, a lot of aggression coming out on that one.
He did what he could, only 18 years old, so much time ahead of him to improve. But let's talk about our quarterfinals now, ladies and gentlemen. Our quarterfinals, Elite Fra, hometown hero coming in here. He will be playing against Lion. We also have Balak versus Typhon. We just saw Typhon make it through. We then have our first matchup that we're going to be covering right now is going to be Elite Frank versus Future Flash. And then we're going to have the team kill, RPM Nick versus RPM Alex. That will be after this on the stream. But first, we are going to be covering Elite Frank versus Future Flash. Guys, absolute titans here about to clash.
Yeah, Future Flash, one of the players we've not yet witnessed on our screens just yet. He obviously came out to get dizzy in that first round. 3-0. That's got to set a lot of confidence in this player to be able to have such a dominant first round in this tournament.
That's a statement to say the least. And if you think about it as well, Flash is the one guy who's been practicing a lot in 1v1 against Alex. And he said it before in an interview, the fact that all their games have been super, super close. And it's even been streamed as well. So maybe other players were watching it to take notes. So we'll have to see what happens.
Maybe fish out some of them strategies. We're going to be starting on Caribbean by the sounds of it. But like you said, Future Flash, fastest qualifying time, practicing with the favourite of the tournament. There's so much going for him, guys. But let's talk about Elite Frank. Such a veteran player heading into this.
More importantly about Elite Frank, look at the difference of their round of 16 competition. He just took out Tempest. We're pegging him as one of the favourites for the tournament, so he's already had that crucible of fire going up against lost my sports here. Going up against Future Flash. I mean, it's going to be a tough opponent, without a doubt, but he's already been warmed up. He's already at that speed, at that temperature. He's ready to take this one running.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. We know what Frank's like. I did see a little bit level of inconsistencies in the last event, but this one I'm hoping he's fixed it. He has made dramatic improvement compared to the last time we've seen him. Seems to be a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable in the environment, because he was inexperienced last time. He's got that experience now, so hopefully that'll help him against a player like Flash.
That LAN experience is such a big deal when you're in a game like Asphalt, where one mistake, you guys have called it so many times, can be the problem. We've seen some comebacks, but they're so risky. Ladies and gentlemen, we are heading in to the game. We're starting off on Caribbean. Lethal Trid, take it away.
Thank you very much, Tetra. And I love what you're getting out at the end there. Knockdowns can be the decider. We've seen already that's not always the case. Nice and early. Your Elite Frank pulling into the lead in the yellow. There's a knockdown on the rear. Future Flash already handicapped in this first map.
You couldn't ask for a better start now for Frank. He's had the same in his last series as well, so Flash will be seeing his first loss potentially, depending on the situation, but he's got so much time to come back from. But I have seen in past events where Frank has flipped up here and there, and it's actually cost him some matches. But Frank now has got to play it safe. He's way ahead so far. Just got to be careful now.
It almost looks like Future Flash was rattled there. Do you see the way he made that ramp? He went for the ramp jump, the car all over the place with his landing. That's not smooth, that's not liquid asphalt. He's going to really struggle to build up a time bank here, and you can see that he's willing to take the risk to try and build that nitro faster, to try and contend and lap Elite Frank's usage of the shockwave.
Yeah, I'm noticing so far Frank's not dragging too much. He's just got to be a little bit more careful of what he can do. But, you know, with one of these tracks, this track and the next one as well, some of the hardest to play on here. But Frank must be laughing right now.
Absolutely, laughing all the way to the bank, because at each stage of the competition, his prize money is just going to keep rolling up, Harry. That's exactly what he wants to do right now. And there's the finish line in sight. Elite Frank, it's by the numbers, it's beautiful. He takes map number 1.
Like I said before, pretty much his playground. It happened to him in the previous race as well. 4-second gap. Did close it out a little bit there, as you saw from Flash, but Flash must be a little bit disappointed. It's not the start he wanted. He got a little bit risky there at the start. I like that, you know, a little bit of aggression, because he knows against some of these top tier players, they will take that risk, they will play dirty. Completely understand that. I definitely would, don't get me wrong, if I was in a little bit of a bad situation in terms of a position advantage, but look at him go now.
If someone told me that you were stood in the way of 14,000 euros, you'd be on your bum already, mate. That's the way I'm going to put it right now. So when it comes to a less physical confrontation, when we're looking at playing a game of Asphalt Legends against each other, yeah, you bet I'm going to play dirty. You bet I'm going to want to go for that money. And Filthy Frank, not Filthy Frank, Future Flash. I don't know where I got that one from. Future Flash, unfortunately. You know, he got knocked out early. I want to see what happens in this next map when there's not that early collision, and we can let these players just play their own game for a bit, see how the natural tempo of the game will flow.
Yeah, during that first jab, because of the crash he had right at the start, we haven't really had much of a flavour of what to expect now, but we're sort of trying to catch up as we are going to go to Scotland Wildlands here. And like I mentioned before, and I'll say it again, that first jump is always a doozy depending on how they actually start. But Flash is trying to get around. He managed to get not as much airtime, but managed to get on the track a lot earlier, but managed to get hit a little bit, but it doesn't matter anyway, as Elite Frank is trailing behind a little bit, but his next jump is going to be crucial.
Okay, so we got the extra spin in there over Future Flash, so we should have a nitrous lead if all things were equal when it begins with, but Future Flash obviously having the speed, that collision there to boost him over, that's absolutely disastrous for Elite Frank.
Yeah, he saw there, trying to do everything he could to catch up, every trick in the book, but it wasn't the case now. Flash, the problem is, does he know how far ahead he is? I'm not sure if he does too much. He will get an inkling, depending on the circumstance of the audio cues from the Nitro, but Flash here, he ain't going to play it safe. He's going to play it very consistently, just in case, as you saw before, Frank has done an upset before from a knockdown.
Keep it nice and simple. I want to check in where Elite Frank is right now. I want to see his POV. So he is, yeah, there's a sizable gap between the two now. He's not going to be coming back on this one. This isn't going to be a Supersonic SG on Scotland. That's going to be map number 2, going the way of Future Flash.
Do you know what? Fair play to him. That bridge can be a bit of a wild one, you know, speak of the devil being on Wildlands.
I see what you did there.
That bridge, you know, it's not even the first bridge, it's the second one where it can be a bit questionable on how you want to do some of the tricks of trade. But the question is now, though, Frank just wanted as much of a lead as possible. He wanted to overtake him early because the rest of the track is pretty straightforward, in my opinion.
Yeah, it can all be basically by the numbers. Here's that first line. So Future Flash, I actually think he got the better line on that one. And really, he should have pulled ahead, and that's exactly what he did, sorry. And his Elite Frank trailing. This is the disastrous moment there. The 360 not working out, the collision killing all momentum, and he's having to start from scratch, while Future Flash is just able to roll with his advantage he built for himself.
Yeah, the problem was Flash had the better line, but Frank, he had the better speed over that jump, but he just crashed right into the back of him, so he basically gave him a bit more momentum to help. I think that's why Frank got a little bit more risky towards that second bridge. It was either try and go for the risk, try and get more nitro from your opponent to try and take it forward, or it's just going to be level pegging, not going to make too much difference, and eventually he's going to lose shape or form. So I don't think it mattered too much as we go into race number 3.
And over to San Francisco, collisions already, they're going for the 360s, building that nitro. Frank pulls ahead early. He's actually going to take the singular nitro while Future Flash goes for the double, and that's going to help him close the gap moving into turn 2.
Yeah, you always got that shockwave. He's got to take priority over anything here, but both these players, it knocked him out a little bit, but Frank is trying to go for the next jump, but he didn't anyway, as Flash got a nice lead here to start this race, and he can't complain with that.
It's going to be beautiful here. Like we say, it's usually going to be his map to lose right now. And it's that balance, playing it safe, or taking a few risks to maintain or even grow that lead. But it's a fantastic start for Future Flash. Not that far behind for Elite Frank. He can definitely close this gap, Lethal.
This is definitely a guy you do not want to play safe against. This is a track you definitely can play unsafe. It's not too much of a problem, but Frank missed a jump there, so it's going to not give him much leverage as he would like. But Flash now goes storming ahead as fast as possible, getting that shockwave as he's on the jump just to help him just that little bit more. And as you can see now, Flash slowly closing out onto that finish line there, and as you can see, a 2.5 second gap between the two players. Flash, impressive stuff from him.
Not taking the series, but he's leading the series now 2-1 for a match point for Future Flash, giving us the double thumbs up right there. He knows what he's done. Plenty of opportunity here on match point. Going to be going to what's, I believe Rome is next on the rotation for us. So hopefully he could close it out there, or will we see that elusive, that lustrous map number 5 that we've been looking for?
See, I've not actually seen Flash at an event, like, I don't know if it's his first one, but if it is, the confidence is just oozing out of him. He doesn't really care. He's playing like his players at home pretty much. And it was just crazy stuff. But as you can see here from the replay, it could have gone either way. Frank did have to lead, but the slight nudge from Flash made it so he went, of course, a little bit, got knocked down there, and Flash is pretty much laughing.
But it's that course correction that did him over. If he would have accepted fate, yeah, he would have been a little bit behind. That lead, though, he would have been able to come back, but the course correction landed with that collision. It's all over.
Frank had to take that jump. He know he did, because he needs to keep the nitro going as we go into our next race now. Will Flash manage to take the series, or Frank can equalise it into a final track?
Frank seems to have the better line here, going into the nitro. A little bit of nudging going on, but they're both going to pick up the tank. Elite Frank pulling in the lead. Shockwaves in sync from the two racers right now.
Yeah, Flash trending behind just a little bit. Not too many mistakes here. As you can see now, Frank's just trying to increase his lead as much as he can, but Flash is doing such a good job on his tail. Going to take a slightly different route, as you see there, compared to Frank, but it's helping just a little bit as we go to the next jump.
I think that's mainly due to the fact that Future Flash wanted to split away from Frank in the jump, not risk the knockdown here. And look at the advantage he's given. He's starting to open that gap up. That's about 1 to 2 second gap. He's already got that turn a little bit tight there for Elite Frank. Will lose some speed as Future Flash continues to pull away.
Slight bit of nudge on the barrier there. Flash slowly increasing his lead. He can literally taste the finish line and the series, but he could do everything he can anyway. Will take the left route. His nitro control just been absolutely phenomenal.
Rising through the air, nothing fancy. He knows he's got the lead. He doesn't want to throw it away and risk a sloppy landing. Into the battle rod to finish it off. And Future Flash taking the series 3-1. He will go through to our semi-finals.
I love that. Flash dropped his phone even as he was on the jump. He knew he's taking it. He was confident enough, and he's laughing pretty much all the way to the bank. Extra prize money for him going into the next round. But Flash, very impressive.
Great stuff from this lad. Obviously, we were having a look at his opponent. Elite Frank definitely had a massive potential here, and you gotta be honest, I think he might have had one of the hardest runs by the looks of things so far. I still think the Tempest in the first round, a little bit unfortunate for him to be drafted that way, and he's going against Future Flash, who, by all accounts, had an incredibly dominant series against him. And he's just been able to have this fantastic performance so far, and he's got himself space in the semi-finals. He's guaranteed now, Harry, a top 4 finish in the Mobile Open. He's got to be loving that.
He will be. Frank, commiserations to him. I know how sad it must be. He's lost in the quarters last time, back in the quarters this time. It's that consistency, but I wouldn't even say he was inconsistent. He had to take the risk. He knew he had to do it, but took it anyway because he was going to lose either way. He just knows Flash is way too good of a player to make any major mistakes.
Of course, Future Flash, like we said, going through to the semi-finals. Elite Frank was saying goodbye to him. He will, of course, be, I believe it's 2,000 euros in his position right now. He got through that round of 16, so not going home empty-handed. In fact, no one goes home empty-handed from this one. So we're looking forward to see how he performs better. And I think that balance of safety was very good there from both the players right now. When they had the lead, they weren't just absolutely coasting with it. They were taking a few risks, taking the jumps where they needed to, having a few spins in the air as well to make sure they maintained the nitro to try and compete, should they be contested.
It was basically the audio cues as well. You know, when he went for that jump, you could see from the right side of how far away he was. And when he saw that he was at least a second ahead, he was like, you know what, I'm not going to risk it. It's just a straight line from here. If I risk it, you know, I have to be silly.
Yeah. Well, we're hopefully going to be looking forward to our next match. It will be coming up very shortly as well. Future Flash, like I said, he's going to be going up against his opponent. We'll find out shortly who that is. But I'm looking forward to seeing who else is going to be making it through, because we are going to have another set of quarterfinals going on. We're playing 2 at the same time right now, so we'll be bringing you another quarterfinal. That team kill potential coming up next then. RPM Alex going up against RPM Nick. Now, RPM is considered one of the best teams in Asphalt right now, so you're expecting, you've got players on that team, they're going to be high performers.
Yeah, it's going to be like a reputation from both players. And for a team kill so early on, you know, the chance of that is quite unlikely. We'll have to see how it goes later on.
Yeah, we're hoping to see that one. Waiting for players to get set up right now. We're jumping into our next quarterfinal, actually. We're going to be seeing Elite Fra going up against Lion. This is another one of our quarterfinals right now. And Elite Fra, I know it's confusing because it does sound like Elite Frank. We're just going to keep him Fra to keep it simple right now. We'll be moving forward on here on the Nitrous and going to be spinning it around. Elite Fra taking that advantage nice and early as we're playing on Canyon.
And just let everyone know at home, this is actually 2-all. It's the final race. So have to see what happens there. And Lion, you know, we haven't heard too much about him, but he's definitely making a name for himself here, especially if he managed to take down Fra. But so far, Fra, nice lead here, keeping it slow and steady. Make sure he's playing it safe, but Lion, we'll have to see what he can do here during the second half.
Splitting path, taking it away. Fra going for the barrel roll over to the left. Now he's going to be following this curve in, drifting, dragging, trying to get towards that shockwave, which he just implemented on the back end of that to get the speed back. Now he's just going to be playing it nice and safe. I don't think Lion's going to be able to catch this guy if he keeps playing the way he is.
Yeah, it's at least a couple of seconds behind here. Fra will have to make a big mistake to let anything go here, but it's looking straightforward now. Lion's doing everything he can, shape or form, but Fra is so good, making sure he can't do anything he can to keep that lead, as this is the final race, and he managed to take it. And Lion another one, sadly. Commiserations to him.
Well, he's going away with 2,000 euros, but of course that is going to be who we expected moving through to those semi-finals. Fra, he was also one of the attendees at the Asphalt Series finals in Gamescom, so we're expecting great things from this man. And there we go, 3-0, nice and comfortably. That's the scorelines you want to see deep into the bracket. Give the confidence, send the message. There's plenty more opponents to take down. You're going into the top 4, my friend.
And even though Fra actually competed at Gamescom last event, one thing to take into account is the fact that Fra only just qualified yesterday, but he did have the #1 time. So it shows that he was ready, he wanted to qualify here last minute in the last chance qualifiers and made it here and then, you know, make a name for himself again.
I mean, that's backing yourself right now, because you have multiple ways of qualifying into this tournament. We had online qualifiers, 8 of them to try and get there. Do it from the comfort of your own home, do it at your leisure, playing through Asphalt Legends, the actual game itself. We did promotions through there. But of course, we had the offline events. So we had ESL 1 Cologne, ESL 1 Germany, ESL 1 Cologne, ESL 1 Berlin, Gamescom as well. You go ahead and qualify offline events. I would arguably say they're harder, and I think it's more of a statement of confidence, because it's not cheap to come to these events. Sometimes you have to be backing yourself. And you go, yep, you know what? I can back myself to go far. I'm going to finance myself. I'm going to go to this offline event, get the last chance qualifier, and then start racking up the wins.
And it's, you get unlimited opportunities now to actually try and qualify. That's the main thing. When you had these offline events, there's only a few chances you actually get, because so many people want to qualify these events. And even saw as well, like with the qualifiers yesterday, we had like 2 or 3 top players at it, trying to do the best they can to try and make it here today. And my goodness, it was a slugfest.
Yeah, well, that's all for us right now. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you the second installment of our quarterfinals.
It's grand final time.
Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine, i pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse.
Magic, magic, magic. dancing on my own. When you spill that rum and coke on my t-shirt, yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high-pitched feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby, you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high-pitched feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby, you make me feel something.
Body to the sound of the jukebox. body to the sound of the jukebox.
It's grand final time.
Welcome back to the Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open, powered by Huawei Mate 20 X5G, co-engineered with Leica. Guys, what an amazing series. And we got a little bit of extra at the end there.
I was going to say, I'm amazed that you're able to remember that every single time. That's a bit of a mouthful, but you keep nailing it every time, buddy.
I couldn't, but well, you know, I'll try anyway. My memory's not that great, but you never know. But yeah, we've had some great series so far. The last one, you know, to see the race number 5, that was a great thing to see. You know, Far came out on top, commiseration to Lion as well. But if it's his first event, what a great way to start it.
Yeah, what a great way to start an Asphalt Legends career. We got plenty more action coming on. We got quarterfinals up next, don't we, Chris?
We really do. We have another quarterfinal with the team kill. It's RPM Nix versus RPM Alex. I do want to touch very quickly on Future Flash, as he was able to make it through. He will be fighting it off against Elite Fra. He did mention when we interviewed him that one of the maps he struggled with was Caribbean. What's the one map he lost? Caribbean. So we will be seeing that come into effect, most likely, by other players when it comes to the drafting.
Yeah, the hypothesis has been proven on this one, as he's been able to lose out on that map where he really wants to be racking up. We've only seen so far, looking down it, one series go to distance, and it's Elite Fra versus Lion. So that's impressive that we managed to see one map 5 coming out here. Hopefully we see a couple of more. I'm really looking forward to this next series. We already spoke a little bit about it. RPM, one of the best teams in Asphalt right now, and you got two of what we're hoping are their superstars going to duke it out in this next round of the quarterfinals.
Now, with Alex, he came second the last event. Probably hurt him a little bit because he was one of the contenders to win the whole thing. He is for this event, but I don't think anything is going to try and stop him here, even his own teammate. But the problem is, if he's been playing with Nick a lot, he knows what Alex gets up to, so he may get some dirty tricks on the go.
Might be able to get those sneaky plays in, might be able to play against it. But we also got to talk about the fact that they are going to be kicking themselves. It is a team elimination. You never want to see that when you are on a team with another player at a tournament.
Unless it's in the final. Because that's ultimately the best outcome you could hope for in a team kill situation. It is happening in the quarterfinals. We'll be able to update you on his opponent as and when it progresses. I'm quite liking the looks of the top half of the bracket we saw as we kind of looked at it already. Like I said, I'm looking forward to this one. This is probably the map I'm looking forward to the most when we started this bracket so far.
I am so excited. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for San Francisco as we are heading into game number 1 of our quarterfinal. Let's do this, guys.
The RPM showdown, a civil war, if you will, Lethal. As Alex and Nick will kick it off in the Golden State to get things started. And Alex, one of the favourites of this competition so far, he's given us no reason to doubt him as he's made it to this stage. And already, Nick trying to pull ahead as we saw Alex already going for the 360. Little bit of bumper to bumper, but Nick pulls out on top.
Yeah, Nick managed to drift there nicely as it's getting bucked into. Gave him a little bit more leverage now. He's getting that positional advantage. Nick only just qualified yesterday in the last chance qualifiers, and now he's really showing what he can really do here. Alex not too far behind.
Very clean there on the double triple jump combo. Moves in with the shockwave round the corner. Nice drag to keep it going. Already pumps out another one to keep it on this straight. So obviously the skip the nitro is going to go around here. Make sure he's staying on the track. Taking very dangerous close to the edge, and Alex is not that far behind him.
No, Nick has only increased his lead very slightly now, but look at this, Alex. He's got less landing compared to his opponent. So he's able to catch up a little bit there. Both missed a jump, which is fair enough, but they're both going for the next one now. But Alex is right on his tail, and Nick knows he can't play unsafe here.
Keeping it close, he's closed that gap down using perfect nitros. A little bit of collision in the air, but no one's knocked down. They're neck and neck coming into what could be the final bend. He spins round the edge. The perfect shockwave coming in right there. And it's going to be Nick pulling out the victory. 0.4 seconds in it between the two. This is going to be a good series, I can already tell.
I can already feel it already, mate. It's going to be one of those situations now. You saw there quite close to the end. Nick, he already had a shockwave there to boot, but then had another one as he's drifting across. But Alex is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable now, because I'm not too sure if these two players have been scrimming much, but I know Alex has ever been scrimming against Flash quite a lot in comparison, but they're teammates. I'm sure they've been talking to each other a lot in terms of like what kind of advantageous situations they can put themselves into. But Alex weren't too far behind, a little bit of a collision there, as you saw. Somehow else he helped him catch up, but at the same time gave Nick nitro he vitally needed.
Could have done, but if they would have been able to hold on to their nitro, that collision in the air, that could have been a knockdown right at the end if you just had that little bit of extra speed. Unfortunately, the gas tank ran out as he hit the jump, so they weren't in that state of shockwave, so to speak. It's unfortunate for Alex, who will fall into that chasing position when we look at the series. So Nick leading the series 1-0. We got 4 more maps potentially on the line as we're getting ready to move into our second map, which of course is going to be the Midwest.
We've had more knockdowns in the first race compared to any other series, but a very clean one there. Now as we go to our second race now, Alex instead has the early lead comparison to Nick in that last track, but both so far so good. Nick slowly catch up behind, and Alex trying to increase his lead as much as he can just to try and drag as much as possible because the barriers to try and get as much nitro as possible. But level pegging, but Nick isn't too far behind.
Gonna hit that ramp as well, following down onto the lower path. Using the nitro here, not hitting the perfect, not hitting the shockwave, just trying to close this gap and then contend when he has something more impactful, because he doesn't want to let Alex pull away with this one early.
Yeah, it's very difficult there. As you saw, Alex had the shockwave, but Nick didn't save it. He went for the perfect nitro anyway, and Alex is just slowly storming ahead, little by little, only a couple microseconds every second now. And Alex, look what he's doing now. He knows that against his teammate Nick, he can't play too unsafe, especially if there's been no knockdown, shape or form. And Alex now just showing why he's one of the best players in the game.
He's playing his own game right now, Lethal. He's not playing this with a care in the world. He's not bothered with those early collisions. He knows he's got the lead. Going to pump out the shockwave here, taking the lower path. He will cross over underneath. Going to be going around to one of the final bends here. Hit that nitrous. Going to go up the ramp as well. Pick up the double on the way. Won't go for the double flip, but Nick's going to be following right behind. I can't imagine the gap's that big. Actually, it's larger than I thought it was. Alex tying out the series as we move into map number 3.
Again, Alex, great lines, great nitro control. Sometimes some players are very a little bit behind by 1 or 2 seconds, but get a little bit desperate. That panic button's initiated. They go for the perfect nitros instead as they go up the jumps. They'll try and go for the shockwave, but at the same time, if you're close to it, even if you're on a straight line and you're 89% of your bar, do the drift anyway. It will help massively as you go across. But some of them did do that on some parts of the track. But Alex, man, the consistency is absolutely unreal. And Flash must be watching this now thinking that he's got to really improve his game even more, depending on which of these two players come out on top.
Well, the only way Flash is going to be able to face him is if he makes it to the final. He's got another opponent to go through in the semi-finals. And RPM, Nick, and Alex, I'd want a piece. You know what the worst thing is? I wonder if friendship, is this going to be friendship over after this series, depending on which way it goes? Or are they just going to be like, yeah, fair play, I'll get you next time?
No, do you know what? If it was me, I'll be like, fair play, mate, you've done well, but I'm still really, really frustrated. You're taking all that money from me, but it's all about the pride anyway. It's top 4 up for grabs. We expected a match like this to be at least in the semis or the finals. Not the case now. Probably one of the best quarter-finals we could ask for. And we will be going to the race very shortly between two great players. But Nick, though, not too bad from what I've seen.
Not bad so far, catching up the favourite. Or the other quarter-final we got going on right now is Typhon versus Balak. So Balak broken that curse at Gamescom we had. We got knocked out in the first round by Fra, who's also progressing through this tournament. He's made it to this stage so far, so it'll be interesting to see who pulls out on that one. We'll update you on it after this match has finished. Looking like there might be some technical difficulties, so apologies for the slightly longer extension there, but they are getting resolved. You see them, our admin team, very vigilant as always.
And as you were saying before with Balak, you know, I'm glad he's like progressing much more than he normally does. Back in the day, this guy would be a massive grind. He used to play 8 to 10 hours a day. He does it now, normally about an hour or two, just to de-rust, make sure he keeps himself warm, completely understandable. But I have to see what happens as the tournament progresses.
Yeah, Balak is one of these players who a bit of a grinder when things came around to it. Current scoreline we're getting right now, we'll give you an update while that's going on. Typhon leading the series 2-0 right now as we jump into map number 3. RPM Nick, RPM Alex. It's the showdown between the dog. Let's see how it kicks off as Alex has already pulled ahead on row.
Yeah, the bashes are coming in. As you can see, Nick falls slowly behind, but caught up a little bit, but bashed into Alex only slightly as Alex initiated shockwave just a little bit later in comparison, which was very risky, but I think he knew he was a little bit ahead enough. Oh, and he managed to crash anyway. Nick, my friends, not the time to do it, especially in this matchup. And Alex now, he's got to be laughing as he tries to storm away into a nice early lead.
He might not have seen that one, but he definitely heard it. He knows exactly what happened there. He doesn't know how it happened, he just knows that it did. He coached this one, take it a little bit easier, knowing the fact that I'm about 95% certain he's going to be pushing this to match point after this map. Doesn't need to take the risk, and that's such a disaster for Nick, who has been contending neck and neck with his teammates so far.
Well, the question is, what kind of audio cue do you want to listen to? Someone behind you with a shockwave or a perfect nitro, or someone where you just heard a crash? I think I know what I'll choose.
I know what I prefer, especially if I'm in the leader and I'm chasing as well. And RPM Nick, substantial time difference between the two there, just generated by the absolute momentum killer that is crashing out. 8.3 second difference. I think that's the largest we've seen on the broadcast. We could have had larger in some of the off-stream games that were being played simultaneously. But that's got to take the wind out of your sails. Match point, RPM Alex.
Not only did he crash, he did it on himself, so, you know, not really too much sympathy there. As you can see, he just missed a jump just slightly. It's quite rare, especially with that one in particular. But I think he's trying to get at least airtime as possible to land quicker and then try and overtake Alex. That risk didn't work out sadly for him. Or it might have just been a standing mistake. I'll have to look into that later on. But now though, Alex, like you mentioned before, just over 8-second advantage, and you said it yourself. You know, one of the biggest advantages we've ever had, he wasn't even playing it unsafe, he's just increasing it massively as he was going on, doesn't care.
And he's going to need that. Late folks, we've got an update from the other quarterfinals happening right now. Typhon taking the series 3-0 against Balak. So the winner of this match within the RPM showdown will go on to face Typhon in the semi-finals.
Typhon 3-0, that's against Balak as well, who used to be quite a big grinder. That's a statement and a half, isn't it? To say that now in the quarterfinals, that is unbelievable, but we'll have to see which player he'll be waiting for now. As Alex does have the lead, but this is the doozy jump I always talk about in Scotland Wildlands. But Nick didn't have the best performance in that last game, but now has got a nice early lead here. But he needs to really be careful over his next two jumps.
That has got to shake you up when you see the bottom of the car come in the top section of your screen, right? You're just like, all right, he's right on top of me. This could be dangerous. And Nick's pulling ahead nice and early, had the superior line when it came to that first jump, and he's maintaining control of the match so far.
Yeah, not too many tricks here from Nick. Alex is actually quite far behind it, at least 2 seconds, so that risk factor's got to come to play here and see what he can do. He's dragging everywhere, shape or form, has caught up by about half a second now.
I love what he's doing. I love what he's doing here, Lethal. He's popping off the shockwave. He's keeping his car nice and low, even on the jumps as well, and not wasting any of this momentum. And he's catching up. He's trying to close this gap on Nick. As we're getting to the conclusions of it, he went for the spin, and the gap closes even more.
And even if you see there, Nick was actually playing it way too safe for last first half of the track, and Alex is going to try and overtake it, but Nick Nick managed to try and go through anyway, but Alex, it's literally a dead heat. It's a draw. We'll have to see from the ref's decision. But
doesn't make it a draw. That's the 3-1 gone.
I've never seen that in my entire
Same
life.
Spot happened earlier in the day with Supersonic SG. That final 360 spin on the final jump of Scotland Wildlands, going over the line, mid-air lethal, over the top of his teammate's head. There are victories and there are salt in the wounds.
Seems to be a bit of a repetition here, guys, I think, in terms of the last part of Scotland Wildlands there. But that was absolutely ridiculous. But you saw Nick as well. A lot of times he was playing it maybe too safe during the first half. But Nick then kind of realised, he was like, okay, I need to actually start stepping up my game up here. But look at this. You couldn't have asked for more dead heat game between these two players.
That was simply down to Alex's line. He took the inside straight, less distance, keeping the speed, no turning to kill the momentum. And when it came to the ramp, he was just in a much better position. He was moving faster. He could overtake in the midair.
My heart was literally pumping then. I don't know, imagine how the players felt during that focus, but it was pumping for me. But my goodness, what a race. That was probably one of the best races, especially one of the best tracks we've ever seen so far today.
Yeah, absolutely. Repeating what we saw with Supersonic SG earlier on in the series, that might be the spot on Scotland to watch. If there is neck and neck, there hasn't been a knockdown, keep an eye on this map until the very end, because that final jump could change it and flip the entire series on its head. 3-1 scoreline. RPM Alex, one of the tournament favorites. He's going to be going up against Typhon in the next round. Before we get to that, we're going to a quick break, so don't go anywhere.
It's grand final time.
Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine, i pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse.
Magic, magic, magic. dancing on my own when you spill that rum and coke on my t-shirt. Yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. first sight, the way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby, you make me feel something.
Body to the sound of the jukebox.
It's grand final time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open. We're excited and we're powered by the Huawei Mate 20X 5G, co-engineered with Leica. And guys, what a series that just was!
Came down to the wire, neck and neck, an overtake right at the end of Scotland from RPM Alex, just over the top of his teammate. We couldn't actually tell who had won the series or won the map when it happened because it was that close. We waited, of course, until the admins gave us that decision by virtue of just crowning a champion.
My heart is still going after that track. It was absolutely ridiculous. You couldn't ask for a better match between, two of some of the best players here in the tournament. And it was just some crazy stuff. But we saw glimpses of Nick where, even in that Scotland track, It was just a little bit too slow, playing it too safe. We spoke about it before. But I love how in the second half, you started seeing him doing the 360s thinking, okay, Alex is actually right behind me here. I need to really step up my game here, but just a little bit too, even the tiniest bit too late.
We just saw there that gutting position of Nick crashing on Rome. That's got to feel bad, and you might end up carrying that into the next game.
Well, Nick, you know, like I said, on the Rome, we already talked about it, just took the jump a little bit too low. We know what he was trying to do, cut out the airtime, play as close to the ground as he could. Wasn't to work out for him. Bracket on the screen right now. Semi-finals, Elite Fra, Future Flash, RPM Alex, and Typhon. I'm looking forward to seeing how Typhon's progressed through the tournament, so we've missed out on him since his first round matchup.
That is right, and Typhon, you saw there 3-0 against Balak. And
overall,
great statement from him, and that's one of the massive grinders on the game. But against Alex now, and remember, Typhon came third at the last event, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't want another third. He wants to try and take the whole thing here. I couldn't ask for two better semi-finals, and if Flash gets to the final, I would love to see whatever happens in that matchup.
Alex is going to want to take down Typhon. Typhon wants to take down Alex. They are equal on map score right now, 6-1. So that discrepancy is finally going to be broken, but we are jumping into that game. We are jumping into Elite Fra, hometown hero here from Italy. He's playing against Future Flash.
And this guy's just been popping off this tournament so far. I really like what I've been seeing from Future Flash. Going up some tasty competition now. You had Fra, obviously. Don't think Future Flash was in attendance of that tournament, but the Elite Fra has definitely shown up in previous events.
And we're not wasting any time. Ladies and gentlemen, guys, please take this for me. It is Elite Fra versus Future Flash in our semi-finals.
The graphic is deceiving you. Don't worry, just listen to my powerful and dulcet tones when I tell you that it's Future Flash going up against Elite Fra. Or I may be corrected. No! I have been deceived. We are going into RPM Alex versus his opponent. It's RPM Alex who is trailing behind as Pro Typhon takes the early lead. He's trying to contend him with the shockwave, and he might be able to just edge it out after that jump.
Yeah, you saw that Alex had the perfect nitro, but Typhon with the shockwave managed to get and extend his lead just by that small amount now. But Typhon knows what Alex is like. He's just going to be on his tail for the entire way, maybe even creep up slightly. You can't even have any minor areas against a player like Alex.
Still trailing behind Typhon as he will pull ahead right now, going for the double, will hit that ramp as well to guarantee he has a shockwave when he lands. Gets the two rotations in, hits the second one as well. Inefficient use of nitro there, but he wanted the extra speed to make sure he maintained momentum.
Yeah, not too many tricks here from Typhon. Just playing it a little bit safe, but not too much, because he's already seen in the previous matches where Alex is just not only on your tail, but he'll be creeping up behind you in any way he can. One of the harder tracks here, but Alex is pulling behind a little bit here, and Typhon is just storming ahead.
RPM Alex, he's keeping himself well away right now. He's being respectful of Typhon's personal space as he's letting him just leisurely go over the finish line right now. This might be in Alex's head. Hey, GG, go next.
Yeah, he's not messing around here. Couldn't ask for a better start as Typhon crosses the finish line there. Alex will be trailing behind. Well, not by too much, but just by a couple of seconds here. More than that, actually. Just under 4 seconds. That's ridiculous. I never would have expected that.
What a great way to take this series by the reins against someone who is talented as the favorite at this tournament as well. Not only does it set you off great in the series, it's got to do wonders for your morale as well. You've got to be riding that high, keep that positive energy as you go through to map 2, and hopefully you can close it out in 3.
Yeah, we saw Typhon earlier before against Supersonic. You know, wiped his forehead a little bit in relief in that last game in the first round, but now the pressure is on Alex. But I've seen it before and I'll see it again. We'll have to see what he can come up with. Typhon, it could be one of his better tracks, we don't know, but you know, we say it before with the Midwest and Tropical Islands, two of the harder tracks, normally the better player does come out on top, but he was just going away. Even when he was extending his lead, Typhon missed a couple of jumps just to play it safe, and still a dominating lead there in that first track.
Going on to our next map, nice and shortly. Keep the ball rolling on this one as the players set up the next lobby and jump into it. RPM Alex tailing behind at the moment. We got our colleague or his opponent. He's pulling ahead. Typhon, first map win going over to him. He will, of course, jump into map number 2 right now. And it's going to be RPM Alex pulling ahead early. Taking that optimal line. They're going to both go up the jump, and no shenanigans so far.
Yeah, you can see there. Typhon trying to do a bit more of a 360 spin there. Did a little bit too much, but that's going to help Alex massively now. This is exactly what he needed at the start of his race to try and equalise the matchup, but we'll have to see what he can do here.
That was such an unforced error by Typhon. There was no pressure there from Alex. He had the lead, yeah, he's trying to go for the overtake, but that wasn't a forced mistake. The rotation's just too much, and it may have just cost him this map.
Yeah, I think when as much of a lead as possible, that position advantage is so important, and a lot of risk will come from these players to try and catch up or even try and overtake here. But Alex, you saw even then, with some of the jumps he's doing, he's shockwaving as he goes out the jumps. Typhon's doing the same thing, but what can you do when Alex isn't really playing that safe?
Alex is not making mistakes right now. He's playing his own game, and it's so hard to come back from that one. You're relying so much on your opponent, just giving away these little inches, making these small decisions that, yeah, are going to be safe for them. They're not going to crash out, but you miss out on those opportunities that maybe the chaser is going to take, and it's not enough, unfortunately. Typhon's not been given enough time, not been given enough space. RPM Alex crosses the finish line, levels out the series. We're going to be going to map number 3.
And this is what we said about time trials as well. It's just a flavour of what to expect. And that's the problem here, because if there's not really too much time between the two, and there's a knockdown or maybe a slight collision, or maybe just scraping against the wall a little bit too much or messing up a trick here and there, that is a major fault. But, you know, with Typhon, I think because he was a bit behind, he knows what Alex is like. He knows how much of a great player he is and how good his lines are. So I think it was worth the risk. Sadly, not in his favour, but Alex, pressure's a little bit off him now as he managed to equalise things up.
Calm and composed. You don't want to be rattled by that when you have the lead. We talked about how the morale could be riding high. You can't lose it as you go in this one. Quick replay. You can have a look at that pivotal moment here where Typhon over-rotates, landing backwards here, and the spin keeps going. And he just has that collision with the wall as he goes into the corner. So unfortunate for him.
Yeah, he didn't turn to the right enough. He was just trying to play a little bit greedy with the nitro control, but which I completely understand. Like I mentioned before, he's trying to get as much out of it as possible. He didn't want to let Alex extend his lead. Maybe he's played him a few times before and know it's one of his better tracks, which is why he's trying to go all out right at the start. Like I said before, didn't go in his favour, but it's still early days yet.
Of course, we got that series going on. We got Elite Frog going up against Future Flash happening at the same time. We'll give you a score update as and when we are given it. And I'm just being passed it right now. Future Flash leading the series 2-0 right now. That might be a little bit more dominant than this series, which is looking to be quite close. But Typhon got that inside line, got the superior. He's over the top right there, and he drops down on top, taking RPM Alex out, and all but guaranteeing that he will get match point after this map. But he's crushed out himself!
No!
It all but guarantees the butt comes into play. Typhon now has to play chaser to RPM Alex after the best possible start.
That was a ticket to a win there. Alex now must be relieved, but not too relieved yet. He's got to be careful. Keep that lead. Play it safe. Make sure Typhon doesn't get any kind of an opportunity to come back here. But you couldn't make that up, could you really?
Crash, and we talk about it, we say it so many times, but it's the first time it's been evidenced, Harry. The only way you really come back from a knockdown, barring some miracle, is to make your own mistake. Remember what map we're on, though. This is Scotland. Remember how many times that last jump has been pivotal with the overtake. Unfortunately, Typhon, that's not an option for you, friend. The gap is too large. RPM Alex going 2-1 in the series.
That was a golden opportunity for Typhon there. Sadly, when that mistake was made, that first pitch can be a bit of a doozy depending on the circumstances, and it just wasn't in his favour. Alex, he must be absolutely relieved from that scenario there. But to be fair, Drid, this is why Scotland's one of our favourite tracks, the Wildlands.
Always, never ceases to amaze. I was going to say disappoint there, but that's not the case at all. Having a quick replay of this one. So look, superior line from Typhon. He's going to go over the top here, lands straight on top of Alex. And you see in the bottom left corner, Alex's reaction, rolling the eyes. Oh no, this is disaster. And here's the jump from Typhon. Doesn't quite make it. He's going to hit that so awkwardly with the shockwave. Goes off that second ramp at an angle and totals himself.
And the one thing as well, I want to take into account, Alex, he saw it happen with the crash, but he made no facial reaction because you know what Typhon's like. He will make that comeback when necessary. And maybe he didn't think it was too far ahead, but this has been a doozy of a series so far. But as we go to race number 4, Typhon does get an early lead, does get the first nitro canister there, managed to get the second, and Alex gets a shot grab to try and catch up.
Has to use it to catch up. Typhon's not popped his yet, so he's still got that in the tank right now. He's going to use it when he hits the ramp. Make sure he stays clear of Alex, who has so much to gain by having a knockdown. Following him up on the ramp, playing it nice and low. Will make the jump where his teammate couldn't as they head over the tire building and keep this going. Shockwave used there by his opponent in the lead right now. Typhon maintaining it strong, but there's the Shockwave. He's looking for the chase right now. We'll flip over the ramp as we head into this corner.
And as you know, with Typhon, he knows what to do. He always shockwaves on every jump just to extend the nitro enough with that shockwave. He's right behind him here. Typhon knows he can't play it safe anymore. Alex is going to do everything he can.
He used the perfect
neck and neck.
Used the perfect nitro there to keep the gap going. He might want to have a shockwave shorter. Perfect nitro again from RPM Alex. They're following the exact same route, but he misses out on the double nitro right now. Typhon has such an edge moving into this final jump.
But he's not making the risk anyway. Alex is going to go straight forward. He was relying on Typhon to make a mistake there, which he didn't. And as you can see there, Typhon manages to take it. And I was hoping for Typhon to make a mistake. He didn't.
Typhon now forcing out that map 5. This could be the first map 5 we're actually going to have from start to finish on the broadcast. Obviously, we caught up with, I believe it was Future Fash and Lion, who went in with that 5-game series. We only caught the final map. You can have one from start to finish. It's going to be coming on your screens after this brief intermission where we're looking at these players coming in. To give you an update on the other side of the bracket, we're not the only ones having a map 5 off stream right now. Future Flash and Elite Fra, they're going to that final map showdown as well. Semi-finals are neck and neck.
And we'll keep you updated with the other semi-final just to let you guys know exactly what is happening, who will be the winner of that match too. But now, I can't take it anymore, Trid. This is getting ridiculous now. It's back and forth between both of these players. Both good friends as well, out and inside the game. But Typhon now, he knew he was a little bit lucky in circumstances, but what edged it for him is using those 2 vital shockwaves on the first couple of jumps in the first half of the track. But going to race number 5 now, Trid.
San Francisco.
Who will take it to grand finals.
And RPM Alex taking the jump early, drifting and spinning, coming in from Typhon, who will concede that advantage over to Alex. Takes the early lead because of it.
And Alex now is going to do everything he can. It's going to drag a little bit. Both of them will to extend their nitro slightly. Both of them get their shockwave in. Alex extend his lead just that little bit more. Typhon's got to be very careful what's going to happen here. But Alex does miss the jump, but Typhon just manages to get it. And hopefully will catch up just a tiny bit.
We'll help him with that nitro management. So RPM Alex going to go onto the docks. Hits the single, hits the blue, over the jump. Gotta have Typhon not that far behind. RPM Alex seems to not have a care in the wind. Playing that a little bit tight on the edge there, getting a little bit of collision coming on. That might open a window for Typhon to come back. He goes over the bridge and will land onto the straight.
Yeah, this huge shockwave boost there from that jump, doing everything he can. He's not playing it too safe. There's only a couple of awkward jumps he's making sure he doesn't risk anyway, but he knows what Typhon's like. He will be right behind him.
Still drifting, dragging a little bit in that corner. Final corner as it comes in right now. There's RPM Alex. He's going to be going to our grand finals. And it's not the end of the road for Typhon. He will instead be competing in that 3rd, 4th playoff match.
Sadly, commiserations for Typhon there. History has repeated itself. But will it for Alex in the grand finals?
He certainly hopes not. I think he wants to change what happened in the previous tournament. He did manage to get to that grand final. Get an update on the scores right now. His opponent, Future Flash. Harry, we're getting the final we wanted. We've been gifted this one by the gods of Asphalt Esports.
We have been blessed here throughout the entire tournament with all these ridiculous matches and all these races which have occurred so far. But Flash versus Alex is going to be a very, very close affair.
And Future Flash has been on an absolute trail right now. Could he be driver 8714 incarnate right now and being the absolute run killer for RPM Alex, who's taken down several opponents right now, some big names on the notches with Barrel. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you the 3rd, 4th place playoff match. Don't go anywhere.
It's grand final time.
Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine, i pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse.
Magic, magic, magic. dancing on my own when you spill that rum and coke on my t-shirt. Yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something.
body to the sound of the tuba.
It's grand final time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open. Say it with me now. Sport powered, no, didn't think so.
I'll let you crack on.
Powered by Huawei with the Mate 20X 5G, co-engineered with Leica. And guys, we just had an amazing semi-final, and we are getting ready for our third and fourth place matchup.
Both semi-finals went the distance, and it tells you that's how close the competition is moving into our final legs. You can see there, RPM Alex, he's going to be in our final, one of our tournament favorites. We didn't really expect anything different. Future Flash, a few surprises in there, but this was kind of the final we were teasing as we got through those quarterfinals. We're like, oh, this could be interesting. This could be explosive right at the end.
Do you know what? Every match has been spectacular so far. Each series, I think, it can't get any better, and it has done. It's been proving me wrong every single time. But Flash, Mazza take that first semi-final. It was definitely a slobber knocker between both players. But my goodness, this close affair in the grand final is going to be fantastic. But of course, first, we do have that third place playoff.
Will Future Flash channel the spirit of Driver and put Alex in his second place? And will Typhon be able to sneak in another third place? That's what we're going to be finding out next when he goes up against the hometown favourite with Elite Fra.
That's something we've not actually talked about throughout. We're not really dove into that much here. Elite Fra, it's Italian, right? Don't let the name throw you off. I know FRA is usually a code for France, but
I did
that one. But you know, he's having a lot of the time of his life right now. You know, we're having this broadcast right now. You're hearing the English, right? In the crowd, they're hearing Italian. They've got to be backing their hometown hero in this one. And players, they can feed off that momentum. So that might help him push out the edge here.
Yeah, you know, it's all about pride at stake here. We have to see what happens. But Far, I'm sure he put on a show, but Typhon is going to be very difficult as an opponent.
Well, let's see if that momentum can carry it through. As ladies and gentlemen, we are heading into our consolation final, our third and fourth place match. And guys, take it away with Elite Fra versus Typhon.
There we are. We talked about it. Hometown hero going up against Typhon. They're not going to be in the final, but they can still walk away with a slightly higher prize and a slightly higher accolade. You don't want to finish fourth when you know you can finish third. Elite Fra going neck and neck already with Typhon. They want to contest over it. Some collision, but no one's going to be knocked. Just going to be jittering each other's cards here and rattling them in this first map.
Yeah, Fra knocked him just a little bit. Didn't really help too much there as he tried to do the best he can to try and catch up from, I wouldn't say a mistake, but just an unforced error there as Typhon is just slowly increasing his lead, trying to knock on every jump he can, taking it very smoothly. Got a little bit of a knockback on that jump and managed to take the lead anyway, but now Fra closing in slowly but surely.
Actually, I think Fra had the better line there. He's able to straighten up a lot earlier and then start getting that acceleration than what Typhon was able to do. Playing it nice and tight as well. He wants to really streamline and be going straight forward as much as possible to try and catch up. But Typhon still keeping him all the way back there at arm's distance as we head into one of the final straights.
You can see Typhon now is playing it a little bit safe, not doing too many tricks in the boot now, but you've got to be really careful here because we've seen it before. We don't want to see it happen again with Far just slowly catching up, and I think Typhon knows that now. He's hearing the audio cues from the Nitro, which Far is using here, but he's going to grind a little bit here. He's going to finish the line with a nice little shockwave to boots. But what a start from him, 0.7 seconds away to finish.
Not a lot between them at all right there, and beyond that first early collision we were seeing at the beginning of the map, you know, it was very much left to their own devices, and when they were doing that, it was just Typhon pulling ahead. So maybe when there are no collisions, there is no dirty tactics in play, there's no ramming, there's none of that coming in, you might be looking at Typhon getting away with the W here. But there's that early collision there, nice little bit of scuffling happening, and it just gave Typhon the edge, and he maintained it throughout the rest of San Francisco.
Yeah, Far got a little bit of nitro out of that, but lost a lot of speed from that bump as well. And Typhon just wasn't having none of it. He was like, okay, you know, you do your thing, I'll do me, you know, that's perfectly fine. But there was not really too much he can do. He extended his lead throughout the first half of the track, but the second half, you saw there's some jumps he just did not want to risk. He took them, but didn't 360 or anything like that. But luckily enough, he managed to keep that lead.
Got Scotland coming up next, and we know how this can turn out when it's neck and neck. So if they're left to their own devices, we could see the absolute reverse around, but it's Typhon pulling ahead on the superior line. Will take that early lead, and he's going to leave his opponent in the dust.
And he's drifting there a little bit. Look at that. Far managed to edge him out here. And he may crash it, and he does. He managed to flip now. And Typhon's got a huge amount of work to try and catch up to Fra here.
He didn't commit to that jump enough. He played it around the edge and didn't have the momentum to complete the rotation and get away with this one. So Fra pulling out ahead, but we've seen comebacks on Scotland. So this might be the case as this carries on.
That's not the first time we've seen it today. That first bridge can be a little bit of a doozy if you're trying to risk high risk, high reward, but it didn't turn out that way. It's Typhon's trying to do everything he possibly can to try and catch up. But Scotland Wildlands a little bit easier compared to other tracks, but sadly for us, Trid, we're not going to see one of those close affairs towards the end of the finish line, and Far is going to take the final jump, cross the finish line, and manage to equalise.
Gap was just too large, closed down a little bit, thankfully. Still looking at about 2.5 seconds there. 3.5 actually, to be more accurate. Can't do maths, can I?
Well, to be fair, your maths is still good, don't worry. I think our maths has been pretty much on point apart from that last one, so don't worry, I'll give you credit for that one. But so far, so good. Far managed to make that comeback. But, you know, Typhon wants, well, he didn't want history to repeat itself in the second semi-final, but he definitely does if he tries to get another third place finish. But as you can go back into the replay here, you can see Far managed to get that lead, but as you could go from here, Typhon just slightly missed a jump, was too much on the far right-hand side, and sadly for him, managed to get close out and Far taking it.
You know what I spotted?
Go on.
A little bit of drag just before the ramp to course correct him slightly, killed that speed, and he also clipped it. He didn't get it odd enough, because the more you commit to the ramp, the more spin you're going to get, because obviously as the ramp banks, it's going to rotate your vehicle more before you let control of it into the air. He just didn't get that rotation, and he didn't have the speed as well. Fra, he's going to be bringing that to kick off Rome as he pulls ahead early.
And here we go with a perfect nitro from both players. Aren't going to go for the shockwave anyway, as Far wants that position advantage. But look at this, Typhon managed to just squeeze in there as he goes for that jump and increases lead ever so shortly. But I can see this is definitely going to be a close affair.
Typhon just edging him out there as he headed over to the ramp, and you don't want to risk too much when it comes to that. We've seen crashes on that particular jump too many times. Little clip there from Fra, who's going to take the up ramp, and he's going to keep himself nice and behind Typhon, so he's not pulling away, but there is a bit of a lead coming into play here for Typhon.
Yeah, Typhon 80 to 9% nitro bar there, drifting to get that shockwave to help with his lead, keep it contained as much as possible, as he's doing a great job here, making sure he keeps that lead.
Going to hit that ramp up. Typhon not going to go for the same line. In fact, he's going to change it up here. Wants to get some rotations to build that nitro and try and cross over on the final ramp. This is risky, but he's not going to be able to close that gap, unfortunately. That's Typhon taking it to match point after our third outing.
A very comfortable finish there from Typhon. Fra did everything he could, and sadly for him, it wasn't to be. just over 3 seconds behind there. You know, a slight statement from Typhon saying, you know, I'm ready to play, I'm ready to take this third place. But Fra, we'll have to see what he can do in this next track.
Next track, of course, going to be Tropical Island. And then if it does go to distance, we're going to finish it off on Midwest. And these are the, if we just take it by aggregate, Lethal, it's the 2 maps that these players least favour.
Yeah, there's a reason why for that, and it is because most players will say and comprehend, but it's the 2 hardest tracks, which is why it could go either way and could go to that race number 5, which we all want here, yes. As I'm sure. You know, I don't mind a race 4 and a finish, don't get me wrong, but I love a game 5 doozy.
Who doesn't? Who does not? Well, current scoreline 2-1 in favour of Typhon. Moving into that 4th map, he's at match point. 1 more. Well, he can't progress further in the tournament, but he can just secure himself that accolade of 3rd place in a slightly larger chunk of that €14,000 prize pool. Go neck and neck, a little bit of collision, but it's Fra who pull ahead early.
Yeah, a nice extra chunk of change there for both these players, whoever managed to take this series. But Typhon now is falling behind a little bit, and Fra managed to get that shockwave to help himself just turn a little bit more, but Typhon's still on his tail. Managed to get a bit of a drift, doesn't get the shockwave, but Fra managed to.
Here's that edge, wants to hit the double wrap right now where his opponent couldn't, so Typhon going to be a little bit up in the nitrous category, and he can just drift around this perfectly, gets that shockwave. You can see in the distance as well, Fra's doing exactly the same. He's closing this gap, but I don't think he's got enough of the map to do it. Hang on a minute, he's pulling up right behind him. They're going to be bumper to bumper any second now.
Anything could happen in this race so far. Typhon's doing such a great job catching up. He's going to try and extend the lead, and as you can see there, Fra managed to shockwave and managed to put him off a little bit, and now he's lost so much momentum and speed there. This could be his golden ticket here.
Fra's going to be looking to bring himself back into the series there. Beautiful riposte even. It was like a beautiful game of fencing right there. Pops the shockwave, deflects the aggression from Typhon, kills his momentum and pulls away while maintaining his own. Fra may have just kept his 3rd place alive with that singular moment.
Yeah, Typhon lost way too much speed there, as you can see. Fra now is going to keep it steady, managed to finish and managed to take it to race number 5, which of course we wanted, don't get me wrong, but my goodness, that one mistake, that one unforced error from Typhon, you could see from the way he was driving, it looked like he was going to try and at least overtake, but he just lost way too much speed there.
I actually have to disagree with you there, Harry. I don't think that was an unforced error. I think that was a forced error coming out. Look at this moment right here. Okay, so he closes the gap, gets in close, a little bit of nudging. Fra, he pops himself the shockwave, clears the gap. That would have been another collision in there, and they both would have been slowed down, but Fra pops it at the right time. He just lets Typhon slam into the wall and kill his speed. To me, that's a forced error.
It was definitely, okay, I can see where you're coming from, mate. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. But you could see as well with Typhon, it was relying on Fra's actual vehicle to try and at least glide off that instead of the bump, like you mentioned before. So you could be right there. And as you can see, one of the hardest tracks, which most players say Midwest, and race number 5, to see whoever wins this will take home a nice extra chunk of change and the prize for coming 3rd.
Bronze medal on the line right now. Map number 5, Typhon pulling ahead nice and early as Fra will be in hot pursuit behind him. He's still got a long way to go on the Midwest. Well, relatively at least.
And Typhon now taking it steady here, just make sure he doesn't make any errors going into this first half of the track. But nice shockwave there, but another one nice from Fra as well. He is catching up slowly, definitely not out of it yet.
Trailing behind, we'll get a few object destructions right now, help along with the nitrous as he picks up the double as well. Staying on Typhon right now, gonna hit this barrel ramp, get the rotations in the air. Still closing that gap, but I don't think he's done enough. The drift around the corner, the line being good here from Typhon. Later with the shockwave to catch it up, and he's right on the rear end of Typhon right now. This could be the opportunity to overtake. Goes low, hits the nitrous, goes for the 360 as well. He's on top of him!
Oh my goodness, Typhon was so lucky there not to be trampled on by Fra, but Fra now, he's still got a little bit of time to try and take the lead, but Typhon now, he knows he's in a great spot to try and win this. And as you can see, it is the last bend grid, as you can see now. He's going to make sure he makes it no unsafe, takes it, and managed to have history repeat itself and get that 3rd place spot.
Typhon walking away with the 3rd place finish. That will, of course, be Fra going out in 4th place. Greater accolade, greater prize money. Smelt the trophy, that's going to be decided shortly after this.
Top 3 2 events in a row, can't be bad. It shows he is one of the most consistent top players in the game. And in the last semi-final, it could have gone either way for both of these players. Actually, what am I talking about? All 4 of these players from what we've seen so far in the past. But great stuff from Typhon, as shows why he is one of the best in the game.
Look at this, we can obviously see the winner going on stage right now. They're getting ready for an interview on stage with John Sargent and of course his great Italian accomplice. We're going to throw it over to them to get some thoughts from the winning player.
Thank you very much, guys. It was an absolutely fantastic third place match, and of course it came down to the very last moment as well. Tyven, fantastic victory. Talk to me about what it's like to be here and to be in this incredible mobile esports event. 5 years ago, it must have looked very different. You must be very happy to be here today.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here because 5 years ago I was playing Asphalt 8 really casually. There was nothing with mobile esport going on, and it was going and going, and now we are here on the stage with all these different games. Asphalt 9 had already a lot of esport events in different countries around the world, and yeah, it's amazing to see this growth, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Yeah.
Wow. Sì, traduco al volo, ragazzi. Bravissimo, bravissimo. Una gara che è finita appunto veramente agli ultimi istanti, pochissimi metri di distanza tra i due, e poi parlavamo appunto di quanto sia cambiato il mondo in questi 5 anni e di quanto sia cambiato il mobile gaming in questi 5 anni. 5 anni fa quello che stiamo vivendo oggi su questo palco sarebbe stato totalmente inimmaginabile, e invece oggi, ad esempio, Asphalt 9 ha diversi campionati sparsi per il mondo, anche molto importanti. Ne abbiamo avuto uno oggi qui che deve ancora concludersi, vedremo chi se lo porterà a casa, ma intanto abbiamo un gran vincitore per il terzo posto.
And now, of course, you've secured a nice chunk of change to take home. Have you thought about what you might be spending some of your prize money on?
Yeah, a little bit. Right now I'm studying, and so extra money is always helpful. But my kind of a dream is to buy my own camper van and travel around Europe in some time. Yeah, it's like one of my big dreams right now. Yeah.
Where's your first destination when you get your camper van?
Milan.
Vabbè.
Allora, giustamente, il terzo posto vuol dire una bella fetta di un montepremi totale di 45.000 euro, ragazzi, sono un sacco di soldi. E quindi giustamente John gli ha chiesto cosa vuole farci con tutti questi soldi, e lui ha detto: io per ora studio ancora, però ho un sogno nel cassetto, quello di comprarmi un camper per girare il mondo, e la prima destinazione ovviamente Milano, ovviamente. Un bel applauso!
Well, that was fantastic. And of course, we've got more action coming after the break as well. But that's going to be it from us for now from the stage. We'll be back later with more action from Asphalt 9.
Torniamo tra pochissimo, ragazzi. Non andate da nessuna parte, ci sono le finali. A tra poco.
It's grand final time.
Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine, i pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse.
Magic, magic, magic. Spill that rum and coke on my t-shirt, yeah. Your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high-pitched feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high-pitched feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something.
Body to the sound of the jukebox.
final time.
Welcome back, everyone, here at Milan Games Week. It is now time to play the grand finals of Asphalt 9.
Bentornati Games Week, bentornati alla ESL Arena e signori, tempo di grand final, abbiamo le finalissime.
It's our pleasure here on stage to introduce to you our grand finalists. In no particular order, first up, please welcome to the stage, Future Flash.
And the second player is RPM Alex.
Gentlemen, best of luck to both of you. Please shake hands and head over to your stations. Good luck. This is going to be a fantastic grand final. Thank you guys very much. Good luck to both of you. And we look forward to seeing what is going to be an amazing best of 5. Over to you guys at the desk.
E dopo la stretta di mano siamo prontissimi e quindi la linea al desk per tutte le emozioni di questo racconto. Forza voi!
Oh, we are ready for an amazing grand final as well, ladies and gentlemen, at the Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open, powered by Huawei Mate 20X 5G, engineered with Leica. And guys, it's the grand final. Can Alex do it? It's his second try at a first place. Can he do it this time?
I'm hoping he can, but you said we're ready. We're not. 1 second, I need to get ready. Okay, now I'm ready to go.
He's stone-faced. He's so serious.
He's flashed the way.
Focused for it.
Exactly, the way he looks, he's giving it. Like, he really wants it more than anything else. And the thing is, though, I talked about time film with history repeating itself of coming third. Alex came second last time. Could he come second again? Flash is looking very good right now.
We'll see. In fact, let's have a quick look at the direction the players took to make it to this point with the bracket. A 9-3 ratio for both of these players, exactly equal all the way through.
Like I said, perfect final. We were teasing this one since the quarterfinals going, this could be the matchup of the grand finals. We have been blessed. We have been rewarded it at the last leg. RPM Alex, we've already said it was the heartbreaking story of Gamescom, finishing second when he was the favorite. Favorite this time around, comes in for the finals. But who arrives at the scene? Future Flash, he comes in out of nowhere and just starts smacking people around. And he ends up in the final, and his final person, his arms are ready to go. He's got it nice and there, primed, and he's eyeing up the face of RPM Alex, as you can see on your screen right now.
Let's be honest here, today, it's very rare I say this, but every single match has been just incredible from what we've seen. And even with Future Flash now, you know, I'm always a bit skeptical about some of the inexperienced players at events, but this guy is really giving it. He doesn't care. He's all for it. He wants it more than anything else. But Alex does not want a repeat from the last event. He wants this more than anything. It's probably giving him more attribution, some more morale to actually want this more than anything now. But Flash, can he take it away from him for the second time?
There's a thing about these two players in particular, and I think they're the players that we've seen in this tournament so far, in these grand finals, that when left to their own devices, they are lethal. When they play their own game, they will win. Well, what happens when they go head-to-head right now? These are two people who can pull away when they're uncontested. So are they going to play dirty? Are they going to change it up? Or are they going to try and just be the superior driver when it comes down to it?
And the funny thing is, right, I spoke about at the start when we saw Flash, he's been practicing a lot and scrimming against Alex. And funny enough, the two competitors who have actually been scrimming against each other this entire time leading up to this event are the two players in the grand finals.
We do have a very quick interview with RPM Alex, so let's get a bit of an insight into his mindset heading into this grand final.
I am RPM Alex. Started playing Asphalt in 2014 with Asphalt 8, and then I switched to Asphalt 9 in 2018 actually, so 1 year ago. And I qualified for Milan a few months ago, and I was the first one to qualify to Milan. And a fun fact is that I qualified to Milan in the period that my girlfriend also moved to Milan, So today I had the opportunity to meet her. That is pretty funny, I would say. And but another fun fact is that actually I've been playing Asphalt 8 for more than 4 years, reaching a very good level, probably the top one. And I never had the opportunity to play against other players of Asphalt 8. While on Asphalt 9, within 1 year, I had the opportunity to travel in 4 different events in which I had to play against other players. I found Asphalt on a store the day after I bought a new device, and I immediately downloaded it because I really enjoyed the graphics and the arcade mode. And since the beginning, I understood that I could reach a really good level because I like the physics of the game. And yeah, eventually I reached the final here in Milan, so I can consider myself lucky, but also I put a lot of dedication on the game. So this is probably one of the main reasons why I'm here at the end. In my opinion, the best and hardest competitor here in Milan are Future Flash, Tempest, Elite Frank, maybe also Typhoon. So we will see now what will happen, but I'm pretty sure that the level is very high. Yeah, it's very nice that and very awesome that we have the possibility to travel around the world and visit new places that we haven't been before yet, thanks to Asphalt 9. Like for example, we are here now at Castello Sforzesco in Milan, which is an historical place, a wonderful place as you can see. So it's really amazing, yeah.
A great breakdown showing exactly the kind of doors esports can open for you, especially here in Asphalt 9 Legends. And guys, when we asked the players before this tournament started what their strategy for the finals would be, Alex said he was just going to play a normal race. Whereas Future Flash said just get ahead and just really hope he doesn't mess up. We've got all this stress in the finals now. What are your thoughts heading into this final? Will strategies change?
I think when they're playing their own games, they are absolutely lethal. I've already said it to begin with, and I think, why'd you keep laughing? You know it's a pun, right? I'm not trying to do it, it's just slipping out as I say it. There's no other word to describe it. These two are just so proficient at what they do. It's so beautiful to watch them play their own game. I think strategy does have to change. I think if they're playing ahead, it's just going to be a neck and neck the entire time. You don't want neck and neck in a grand final. You want zooming straight ahead, and you're going to have to get a little bit dirty to do that.
I wonder if there's any technical advantages they've kept aside for especially like a grand final. I'm sure some of them would have actually used it here and there, but have they hidden anything from each other to give them that slight edge? There won't be much, but I'm sure there's a small amount of stuff which could cause a major upset.
A wonderful question, Lethal, but there's only one way to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be heading into our grand finals with RPM Alex versus Future Flash. For the last time today, here are your casters, Trid and Lethal. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Tetra. Future Flash versus RPM Alex. The final we wanted. The final that, by all accounts in that interview, Alex was concerned about. He didn't want to go up against this guy. They're familiar with each other. Let's see if that carries forth onto the stage. RPM Alex taking the lead nice and early.
They've been screaming a lot, but we'll see what they can hold here. As you can see now, Flash managed to get a slight lead there. Slightly neck and neck now, and Alex managed to get that edge from the shockwave now. Flash going for the jump, making sure he gets as much nitro bar as possible as to follow suit. But so far, so good for Alex.
That looked like so sloppy from Future Flash, but somehow it created this inside line where he's able to get an edge over RPM Alex, who is now countered back with some of his own, getting himself into the lead. The shockwaves are flowing for Alex right now. Hits up the double as he's coming out the end of this tunnel. We'll go for the drift over to the left and hit the barrel roll ramp to continue.
Alex couldn't ask for a better start here, as Flash was a little bit behind now, but we know how good his trials are. But Flash ain't let anything go here. He's slowly creeping up, but how much more time does he need? Alex is just not letting anything go here.
Lands just in time, picks up the spin and the singular nitrous as he heads around the corner. That's a lot of rotation. And then slamming into the wall, which would have knocked a little bit off of his speed, but he built up the nitrous. I don't think he's got enough in the tanks to beat out RPM Alex in this particular instance when we're about to see the home straight right now. This is going to be RPM Alex kicking off our grand finals with the first W.
The only problem is Flash, he had to make that rotation. He had to do those 360s enough to gain as much nitro as possible, because it got to a point, like you mentioned just now, it was on the final bend. He had to get something going for himself, but it just wasn't enough. But with Alex now with the lead, but what can Flash do here as a comeback?
Just for making it to this stage, they both guaranteed themselves €7,000, but €7,000 is nice. You know what's better?
What's that, 14?
14,000 euros. Yeah, you're going to double your money by winning this matchup. You don't want to stare across that guy going, damn, he's got double what, I'm taking him double what I've got right now. That's also what's on the line, looking on your screen right now as well, that beautiful trophy for the Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open. See, Chris is not the only person who can remember how to say the title of this show. Jumping into map number 2, Tropical Island, and Future Flash just about to lose his lead if he's not too careful on the inside track.
Yeah, 14k or 7k, end of the day, it's a nice for a day's work, but now Alex is going to do everything he can now to try and overtake him at the start, but as you can see, Flash has got positional advantage. Alex has managed to drift off a little bit, managed to keep control. How did he do that? As now Flash has got a shockwave to try and make things even worse for Alex.
He initiated the 360 just as the nudge came in. That might have been the saving grace right there, because the rotation kept him on the straight and narrow. He's going to hit that slightly ajar, gets more airtime than Future Flash. That could cost him, but he does get that extra rotation in, which will help him with the nitrous as he tries to keep in hot pursuit.
He is indeed now, and Flash is not letting anything go. He's not even playing safe, he's just doing everything he can. Didn't do the 360 across that last jump. Maybe he is playing a little bit safe, maybe he's quite comfortable here. This is one of the harder maps after all. But Alex, he's got his work cut out here. It's not like any of the previous players. This is Flash, and he is hard to deal with.
I think the gap has grown a little bit too much for RPM Alex to come back on this particular instance, barring some mistake here from Future Flash, who seems to be maintaining his lead quite well. This could be the opportunity to draw out the series and basically have a reset here, providing nothing disastrous happens as we're moving into the final sections of the map.
Yeah, Flash nice and clean there towards the end, didn't let anything go, making sure Alex didn't have a chance to make it back, but you know, it's a bit iffy there. Sometimes it increases leads, sometimes it did make a bit of a catch-up, but in all fairness, if I was on the last quarter of the track, I think I'd play it safe, depending on for at least a second behind.
If you don't hear any noises behind you in the ambiance, then I think you're pretty safe for the moment. Let's take a quick replay here. There's that 360, so you instigated it before the nudge came in from Flash. Thankfully, the rotation put him on the correct path. The only thing it cost him was acceleration and existing speed.
Yeah, he could have gained speed a little bit more there. Sadly, it wasn't the case. But even then, he was very lucky to make sure to stay, not just on the track, but not to cause any more crashes or any collisions there. But it was a shame, really. That was the one fault where it really did cost Alex. But now we see what Flash can do now. He has equalised. Pressure's off him just a little bit as we go into the next track.
Moving on to Rome as map number 3, and we've seen a couple of jumps be disastrous where a lot of players are self-sabotaged by not hitting the jumps correctly. And they're going to go neck and neck. A nice little swing out there from Future Flash. RPM Alex forcing that one, unfortunately, and he will get the superior line. Shockwaves into him. RPM Alex had the speed to avoid all conflict. And yet again, it's Future Flash being bullied into the sides.
Yeah, Flash took a little bit of a risk there. Sadly, it wasn't to happen. He did lose a little bit of momentum and speed there, but Alex isn't messing around here. He's going in full force. We know how clean of a driver he is, but he can be very aggressive when he wants to be. Nice shockwave for the jump there, making sure he gets as much airtime and as much shockwave as possible. Followed up with a perfect nitro, and Flash is only a little bit behind now with that shockwave.
That rotation coming off the back end of that jump there, he landed perfectly to sync up with the corner, so he wasn't going to lose any speed unnecessarily. Beautiful timing on that one for Alex to maintain the lead. More of the same will just mean he'll win this one by default. He took the lead early, he's maintaining control. This is usually where we see players split their path to go from advantage, but Alex is going to take the one with the two double nitros here. Hit this jump at speed, and I don't think Future Flash can catch up now. We're going to match point after map number 3.
Yeah, way too far behind. That was very clean by Alex. Sadly, for the side of Flash, that one little bash during the first 10 seconds of that track. He's trying to do everything he can to come back, but even then, Alex was still increasing his lead. Sadly, you could be right though, this is match point for Alex, but Flash wouldn't surprise me if he took this to a race 5.
Seen it happen before. It has been happening a lot in the last stages of this tournament, Harry. Got over semi-finals, both of them going a distance. We were only able to see one of them. Here's a quick replay here. That over route that Alex took, he's just pulling away here. Nothing he can do. You can see the gap already in front of him. Some nice attempts here to build up the nitrous, but the gap's already too large and there's not enough opportunity. And when you're playing so perfectly as Alex is, when he's in that position of control, it doesn't matter what you do. Some hands you're just not going to win.
We've seen some nudges, no collision so far, both being very clean. That just shows the confidence in both these players here. As we go to match points for Alex here to see if Flash can make a comeback in his race number 4, with Alex with a slight early lead.
It's only going to be Future Flash hitting that nitro early, so we'll get the early shockwave. RPM Alex still to use here. He's probably saving it here as he builds up speed towards the first set of ramps. You do not want to collide here, but Future Flash is keeping on his rear, flips the rotation back round again, will hit the barrel roll where Alex didn't. so will maintain speed, but might have a slight nitrous edge as he comes around this first bend.
Even the speed control right now is phenomenal. He's catching up on Alex. He's only slightly behind him. Alex has to be really careful. He's playing a little bit too safe, and Flash is going to have the nitro advantage here, and Flash managed to take the lead. And Alex has to see what he can do from here.
Not a lot of opportunities here to overtake RPM Alex. Disaster! We've got on map 5! As RPM Alex is trailing, he can't even see the dust trail left from Future right now. As he's heading on to the final sections of this map. Like I said, the only thing he can do now is self-sabotage, because there's no way RPM Alex comes back from this one. Final corner, over the line. We're going to map 5 to see it all off. What a way to finish off the Mobile Open Finals.
We had nothing but race 5s today, and the trend is going to continue in this grand final. 10 seconds behind Flash. Must be loving it right now in his playgrounds. But my goodness, that slight mistake really did cost him there, trying to do everything he could. But Flash did such a great job. As you can see from this last part of the race in the replays, he managed to get additional nitro and kept up a higher speed momentum to overtake. But Alex knew he had to do something risky, didn't pay off, and now it's both players a match point here.
I think that Alex actually was knocked off to the side there by that collision in the air, and in course correction overcompensated and hit himself into a position where he wrecked his own car. I'm going to say that's a forced error from Flash. He's gone over, he's entered into Alex's territory, he's not backed down and forced him into a dangerous position and was able to win the map because of it.
So risky though, because that would cost him the title as the Asphalt 9 champion here. But lucky the risk, my goodness, paid off as we go into our final race of the tournament, and it is going to be our favourite in Scotland, Wildlands.
Wildlands has been the map of the tournament, nice and early, both with a double flip, side to side on this one. They're going to hit them both with a perfect shockwave afterwards as they hit ramp number 2. Future Flash missing out on the perfect place, but he's lost so much speed because of it. And now RPM Alex is having to play catch up.
He's got a little bit of a nitro gain in comparison, but this is where Flash, he needs to play unsafe. Alex is one of those players who will creep up eventually over the course of the day. But look at this, so Flash is making no mistakes, but Alex made the worst mistake possible.
He's given
in race number 5. He knows he's lost it. Its history has repeated itself. He may get another second place here, but poor Alex though, Flash could well be the champion.
Future Flash is able to do it. He just has to keep composed right now. 0 mistakes will win him the championship. Will double his money on this stage as he comes round to the final corner. Wants to hit that ramp. He'll do it in style as he hits that finish line. Your Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open champion for Asphalt is Future Flash.
What can you say about that, Alex? Commiserations to him. That one major fault he made to try and catch up did not work in his favour. It was a doozy of a start, but Future Flash, a great win from him. Very inexperienced, but from now on, what can you say? Very consistent throughout the entire course of the tournament. But Alex, like I mentioned before, history has repeated itself once again with another second place finish, but still, amazing match. Couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, what do you do? What do you do if you're Alex though, right now? Because obviously, twice in a row now at 2 major tournaments on the Asphalt circuit, has fallen short at the last hurdle. It's so difficult for him. We'll hopefully check in with Alex later, but right now we need to speak to our champion. We're going over to John Sargent with our winner, Future Flash.
Congratulations, absolutely fantastic performance there from Future Flash, your champion, ladies and gentlemen. Great stuff. Tell me what you were feeling like at the beginning of the final map, because that was a very intense final.
So, of course, he's really good in Midwest, so that's why he won in the coin flip, so he chose that. And he destroyed me in the Midwest. And second map was actually mine. Caribbean, I'm actually really good there. And the third map was Rome. It's actually, he also made an event in Rome, so he also destroyed me there. The fourth one, City by the Bay. I'm actually really good at that map. I tried a lot in the second qualifier when I qualified here, so I think that's why I also won. I had a little advantage. He wrecked. I just then played safely. And the last one, it was, oh my god. Like really, my heart is now like pounding. You know, you cannot imagine what's going on in the finals. Just trying to get the advantage at the start, and then trying to be consistent. I thought I failed the map, at the start, because he got the ramp, I went down, I 360 to get some nitro, and I thought, okay, I lost this one. Then I see him, he went like, where did he go? He was like so high, and I was like, okay. And then I tried to preserve some nitro. I used my nitro really efficiently in that map, and I didn't even see him in the map, so it was pretty easy for me, the last one. But at the start, I expected that I would lose. So yeah, that's the sad truth.
Una piccola traduzione, ragazzi, il nostro campione, un applauso per lui! E ovviamente abbiamo parlato un po' della gara, e di come è andata. Semplicemente Alex aveva vinto il coin flip sulla scelta delle mappe, quindi nelle due selezionate da Alex lo ha distrutto, lui era preoccupatissimo, poi è riuscito a rifarsi nelle due in cui lui è più bravo. Ovviamente tra quelle buone per Alex c'era Roma, come è giusto che sia, diceva lui giustamente. E nell'ultima gara l'emozione era alle stelle, il suo cuore batteva fortissimo, credeva di perdere visto i primi metri di gara, e poi a un certo punto ha visto Alex che spariva dalla mappa, probabilmente si era schiantato, infatti così era, da lì ha cercato di mantenere la calma senza fare troppe mosse azzardate, cercare di portarsela a casa, e ha vinto. E ora vediamo, John, back to you.
All right, well, we've waited a long time for being able to be on stages like this for mobile esports, and also just watching the scene rise up over the last couple of years. What has that journey been like for you? What has your expectations been, and how does it feel to be here?
Well, I was always I was waiting for competitions like this to come. But sadly, there was a competition 1 month ago at Black Shark, and Greece was not participating in, so I couldn't even try or participate, If Greece was in, then I would, of course, qualify. Now that Greece was in, of course, I qualified, and now I also won the finals, which is pretty epic, and I'm really excited for that.
E gli ho chiesto John come, cosa sente, cosa prova, vista la crescita di questa scena sportiva, e sportiva grazie anche ad Asphalt, che da un paio d'anni che lui riesce a seguire, e giustamente la sua emozione è fortissima perché finalmente ci sono eventi di questa portata, ed era dispiaciuto per non essere riuscito a partecipare in Grecia a un evento per lui molto importante. Per fortuna è riuscito a venire qui oggi a Milano alla Games Week e a coronare il suo sogno.
Well, Flash, congratulations. You held your own. You managed to hold your nerve when the pressure was high. And as a result, you've earned this moment. That trophy is yours, mate. Go for it. Congratulations, you're champion.
Un applauso. Il trofeo è suo, il nostro campione.
grand final time.
Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine, i pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse.
Magic, magic, magic. dancing on my own when you spilled that rum and coke on my t-shirt. Yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Versailles. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby you make me feel something.
to the sound of the tuba. Body to the sound of the tuba.